Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 85. And welcome back to another edition of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Brent Felsing, and joining me tonight, the full squad, Bender Holt, Ben Boyce, Frankie Ayler. Gentlemen, we have a ton of stuff to talk about, which is why we can't spend the first 15, 20 minutes breaking down the Detroit Lions season. Are you crushed, Frankie?
Darn.
Let's go.
You gotta know,
You guys, what's coming out?
You guys are devastated.
Video games.
Boys, we have a lot to talk about. We've also got a long release list. Let's jump into this. Let's go. Let's move.
Let's get right to it, man. Start with the PlayStation releases. One thing we want to mention that came out this past Friday was a Jotun Valhalla edition. It's a game we fired up for the Indie Spotlight last Thursday. It's a game I reviewed. It's going to be up on the site as you're listening to this. So go in and check that out, www.shortpause.com, of course. It's a game I enjoyed quite a bit, Brent. It's basically like an action hack and slash game, and it's just an incredibly beautiful title. Seriously, one of the best looking games I've played, not only this year but in a number of years. It's just got this very cool hand drawn art style about it. The boss battles are really awesome. I had a good time with it. You know, it's deceptively simple at first, but it takes a lot to master it. And you know, like I said, the boss battles are just awesome. They're really cool to go in there, fight through like the layered battles that you go through in there, and kind of perfect your craft as you go in there and try to figure out how the best way to tackle them. So I definitely recommend Jotun. Scored it well. It's available on a number of platforms. It's already available on PC, but now it's on PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U as well. So if you're at all a fan of like action titles or adventure titles, definitely check this one out. Brent, you played it a little bit as well. What do you think about Jotun, man?
I love it, dude. It's seriously awesome. After watching your stream, I jumped in the next day, played, got through the first boss, the one with the vines and whatnot. Yeah. Just an absolutely beautiful looking game in motion, especially that art style really comes to life. The soundtrack is just incredible. Dude, I went to iTunes to find it. Not only was it there wasn't one single review for that soundtrack. It's been out for a year.
Really?
So I wrote a review, and it's going to be up there on there as soon as it's approved. If Apple approves the F yeah title, so it's a fantastic soundtrack. But the gameplay, like you said, it's so simple at first when you play it, but there's so much depth to the boss battles that it's just it was surprising. I was just like, wow, this is actually pretty deep. It's considering the gameplay is basically square to quick hit. Hold down triangle to heavy attack and X to dodge, and then of course your magic abilities. But it's a very simplistic combat system. But the combat itself with the bosses is very deep. You got to make your way to the battlefield. There's always these obstacles or enemies that are trying to attack you while you're engaged with the boss. It's just a fantastic game from what I've played so far.
Yeah, I love the design of the game. It's like each level presents a new obstacle or a new maze or puzzle that you need to figure out. And basically, you've got to kind of make your way through these stages. You're looking for these runes, which open up these doors that allow you to go and fight the bosses. Your goal is to fight the bosses, which are all gods from Norse mythology. You have to fight them in order to kind of, prove your worth to the gods as you try and recover from the inglorious death that you suffered, so you can make your way to Valhalla with all the other revered warriors. Bender, did you get a chance to check out Jotun at all? Did you watch, I know Brent streamed it a little bit. Did you get a chance to watch any of the streams, or is this something that interests you at all?
Yeah, I was able to catch a portion of your stream. I thought it looked like a cool game too. I really, really love the hand-drawn art style. I thought that was really pretty, really colorful, and looked really, really cool. And the gameplay seemed cool. I liked the mechanics of the boss fight and everything. So from what I saw, I didn't get to catch the whole stream, but from what I saw, it looked like a really interesting game.
Yeah, and when you see it in person too, it's even that much better. Like you get the full 60 frame hand-drawn art style experience. It's just a fantastic looking title. Frankie, you should definitely check out Jotun as well if you haven't, man. I think you'd dig that one.
Will do.
As far as this week goes, guys, coming to the PlayStation 4, we've got BioShock the Collection. This is obviously was officially confirmed a few weeks back. This, of course, has the entire BioShock trilogy, 1, 2, and Infinite in one snazzy package. And, from that preview video they put out a few weeks back, it looks like this thing is shaping up nicely. It looks like the upgrade on it is gonna be well worth it. Brent, this is something you're picking up, correct?
Well, I was going to get it this week, but my good friend Frankie here has the ability to sniff out games and steal books where I might not be able to. And it's both a blessing and a curse. I'm glad he showed me that because I wanted it, but now I'm not going to get it until next week sometime. It won't be here until next week. I don't think it ships until the 16th, which is, I think it releases on Friday in Europe. So I won't get it until the following week. So thank you, Frankie, for pointing that out. But damn you, Frankie, now I got to wait.
But it was like cheaper. It was cheaper, right?
It was a little bit cheaper going that route, but yeah, it's a nice looking steelbook. So, I mean, there's enough coming out this week where I don't mind sitting on BioShock for a little bit.
Frankie, you're a BioShock fan, right? You get your eyes on this collection?
I do. I still haven't played the first game, but obviously
Well,
now
many consider to be the best one.
Yeah, I've played every other one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe sometime hopping into it. I really just kind of want to see how these look now. I've been hearing that they look great, so.
Did you see that comparison video they put out? I think it was a couple weeks ago now, where they kind of did the side by side screen wipe thing. BioShock 1 looks great. I mean, it looks markedly different from the original BioShock, which came out obviously several years ago now, and and Infinite, which is the newest game, looks incredible on there as well.
Yeah.
So. It looks like it's going to be a really nice remastered collection. So it looks like it's going to be well worth the price of admission for 3 games of its ilk. Bender, this one interest you at all?
I don't know. I've never played any of the BioShock games. They've never really interested me, so I might pass on it. I don't know.
I see. All right. Well, BioShock the Collection will be out this Tuesday finally. Also coming out in the remaster department, we got the Dead Rising triple pack, which is Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2, and Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, be coming to digital platforms, and then I guess only the first Dead Rising is going to be out in stores. Is that correct? Frankie?
This week, yes. Dead Rising 2 comes to stores on the 27th.
Okay.
I don't know why they're staggered, but whatever.
So just to get this straight, we've got these 3 games coming out digitally this Tuesday. Only the first one's available physically. The second one's available physically in a couple weeks, and the third one not available physically at all.
Yes.
We got all that straight?
All right. Because why just release a collection, right? Like, why look at what BioShock did and do that?
Yeah. You guys, any guys interested in this Dead Rising triple pack? Does this do anything for anybody?
No.
Nah.
Negative.
Negative. Cool. Let's move on. NHL 17 will, of course, continue the NHL series this week alongside PES 2017. So sports fans got a couple big titles to look forward to. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 will be out this week alongside Rive, which is Two Tribes' last game, actually. They made the Toki Tori series as well. This is their kind of finale game. They're getting out of game development after this one. This game actually looks pretty cool. Don't Starve Together, another cool-looking title coming out this week. Brent, we were talking a little bit, maybe try and fire this up on a stream, kind of show the co-op action in this game sometime this week. So look out for that on our myriad of streaming services. Just search Short Pause Gaming on the streaming service of your choice. Mystery Chronicle, One Way Heroics. Frankie, isn't this getting some kind of a release, a limited run release, or one of these?
Yeah, I think on the 23rd they're targeting.
23rd they're targeting for Mystery Chronicle. This is the one where it's the screen is constantly scrolling. But it's an RPG. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this sounds like a really cool game. I'd be interested to check that one out. Psychopass, man, this one sounds really cool as well. Psychopass Mandatory Happiness visual novel coming to PlayStation 4 and Vita. Sounds like this one has a really interesting story. Be interested to check that one out. Slain Back from Hell also coming out this week. Looks like an interesting mixture of Castlevania and heavy metal music. Unholy Heights, which is a apartment sim tower defense mesh. Another strange title. NASCAR Heat Evolution will be out alongside Minecraft Story Mode Episode 8, A Journey's End. There are 9 of these?
Sure.
Yes? No? I think there's 9 of these. So this is the penultimate episode, but this is The Journey's End. So who knows? Also from Telltale, the Batman Telltale series Season Pass disc will be on store shelves. So if you somehow have the urge to buy the first episode on disc and download the rest of them, there you go. Grab that disc this week. FIFA 17 is getting a demo. We've got a couple releases outside of the Tuesday window. On Wednesday, Dino Dini's Kickoff Revival will make it over to North America on the 14th. That's a Wednesday. And then on Friday, big title, NBA 2K17 will release the early tip-off edition. So if you pre-order the game, you get it 4 days early, get a chance to hop in there and play the game early. Obviously, 2K is just a great basketball series every year, so I would expect 2K17 to be no different. Also on Friday, Mountain Blade Warband, some type of a strategy game, will be out this Friday. And Franklin, what's coming from our friends at Limited Run Games this Friday?
Oh, Dragon Fantasy: The Black Tome of Ice, PS4 and Vita. I think it's 3,000 copies each. So,
Right on.
physical collectors, limitedrungames.com.
And now correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw them tweet out a message that if this version sells out, they're going to make a limited run version of the first game as well. Is that correct?
I think so.
So let's get out there. Let's buy the Black Tome of Ice. This is the kind of not remastered, but kind of director's cut version of book 2 of the series. So cool for PS4 and Vita. That'll be a good get. So get out there, get your limited run copy. 3,000 is those. I feel like those are gonna go quick. We'll see.
Hopefully.
So that's your PS4 releases. For the PS3 this week, the Batman Telltale series Season Pass disc, Minecraft Story Mode Episode 8, and PES 2017 and NBA 2K17 will all be on the system. Coming to the Vita, we've got, I have no idea how to say this game, Make Labyrinth of Death, Mystery Chronicle, One Way Heroic, Psychopaths Mandatory Happiness, Dino Dini's Kickoff Revival. All be out on the platform this week. Let's get into Xbox now, fellas. A couple things we want to mention that came out this past Friday on the platform. NBA 2K17, The Prelude, which is kind of the download you can get in and start your character for the game. Get started ahead of the official release of the title. King Oddball is available on the Xbox One now. Jotun Valhalla Edition, like we mentioned, is on there. Pure Chess. The very evocatively named Stardust Galaxy Warriors Steady Climax is available now. And alongside, it's funny that these two games are next to each other, but after the Steady Climax, there's Emily Wants to Play. So this was kind of not planned this way, but that's just how it worked out. Also on the platform now, the Elder Scrolls Online Gold Edition came out this past Friday. And guys, arguably the biggest title to release this week is ReCore. So let's spend a few minutes talking about that. Microsoft put out a stream this past week where they kind of showed the first like half an hour or so of the game, just to kind of give people a taste of what's to come from this title. And I've told you guys before, and I still stand by it. I'm not sold on this game from what I've seen of it. I'm not sure how this one's going to turn out. But I turn to you on this, Brent. What do you think about ReCore right now, man?
From watching the stream, I think the gameplay looks fun enough. It's like a third person shooter that doesn't require on a cover system. I kind of like playing a third person game where there's not a cover system, similar to like a Ratchet and Clank or even a Quantum Break, where you're just kind of moving around as quickly as possible, dodging enemies and engaging in combat with many enemies. I think it has a very beautiful art style. Like I said, this type of game is going to be dependent on its story and how good it is and how likable the characters are. What are the villains like, your enemies, the bosses and such. Watching the stream, I thought it looked pretty good, but they mentioned that they were playing the PC version. The PC version looked like it was running fine. There were some goofy moments there where one of the developers couldn't get past a door. And he kept saying, "I've played this tutorial 1,000 times." And I mean, he kept running into the door. You had a certain amount of time to activate the door and then dash through it. And I think he ran into it like 10 times before he made it through. So that was kind of funny to watch. But, like I said, I dig Major Nelson's enthusiasm. It's just not for me. So I had to cut the stream off early. But like I said, it's just going to be dependent on the story. I like third-person shooters. This game looks like it's very frantic. There's some heavy action in some areas that we saw. So I'm definitely curious to check this game out. Obviously, there were some reports coming out tonight. Speaking about talking about lengthy load times, very lengthy, anywhere between 30 seconds up to 2 minutes in some areas after you die. And I was like, good lord,
What is this, Legend
So-
Battle Mage?
right?
Wait,
So,
it's after you die. It's not like loading into an area or anything. It's
Right,
like-
this is like after you die.
Oh,
No,
wow.
like I said, it's jumped all over the place in these reports, anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I have no idea. I don't even know if there's a day one patch include that's if it's been released yet, if this hasn't been addressed already. But that was a bit of a concern. But I mean, like I said, I'm gonna give this game a try. I'm definitely pumped. I've got it downloaded on my PC and my Xbox One, so I'll be playing it Monday night. I'll be streaming it for about an hour, check it out, see what it's like. So tune into our YouTube channels.
Right on. Bender, where are you at on Recourse? We've got, Armature as a studio comprised of some of the people who've worked on Metroid Prime. We've got KG Inafune and his concept team involved. Obviously him of Mega Man fame. So it's got some marquee players that, have the potential to put together a good game. But where are you at on Recourse as we stand right now?
I'm still pretty excited about it. I think it looks pretty cool. I've got it reserved, so I'll be playing it, on launch day. It looks like it's going to be an interesting game, lots of action and everything.
Mhm.
So I guess it kind of depends on the gameplay, how much I actually like it. But I guess I'm kind of open-minded about it right now. But I'm mostly excited.
Right on. Now, Franklin, you and I have had conversations in the past about Recore and how we're not quite sure about this game or how it's going to turn out. As we stand right now, where do you stand on this? Did you get a chance to watch any of the streams that came out recently? Have you kind of decided one way or another how you feel about this game right now?
No, I didn't watch anything on it. I already got it paid for, pre-ordered, preloaded. I've already got it, so I don't need to watch anything on it. But like I've mentioned before, I'm still cautiously optimistic. The few things I have seen, the game looks like it plays like an Earth Defense Force game, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that. But I don't know. People keep telling me it's fun, so I mean, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. Armature hasn't steered me wrong yet, so I don't know. Maybe despite its kind of quirky looking animations, maybe there's a good game in there. So at least that's what I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how this one turns out. The embargo lifts on Monday, so we'll find out what the press has to say at that time, and maybe we'll get a better idea of what's in store for everybody on Tuesday. That's Recore. Let's get on with the rest of the releases this week. So we've got The Witness arriving on Xbox One this Tuesday. So Jonathan Blow's lauded title will make its way over to Microsoft's platform. The BioShock Collection and the Dead Rising triple pack will, of course, be on the Xbox One this week as well, alongside NHL 17, Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, PES 2017, NASCAR Heat Evolution, and the Telltale duo of Minecraft Story Mode Episode 8 and Batman the Telltale series, the Season Pass disc. We also got the FIFA 17 demo. There's also been some reports that a possible Forza Horizon 3 demo may be out this week. This has not been confirmed. So if it does show up, you heard it here first. If it doesn't, we warned you. So it's possible that may show up on Tuesday. Perfect Woman will be a Wednesday title on September 14th. I might have to have one of you guys download that and tell me what that's all about. Mountain Blade Warband is a Friday title on the Xbox One, alongside, of course, NBA 2K17, which will also be on the Xbox 360, the early tip-off edition. All right, let's get into Nintendo now. What came out on the Wii U this past week? Touch Selections. These are all in the eShop now for $2.99. The Gem Collector's on there for $2.99. Tetraminos is on there for $4.99. Spherzor, a $4.99 title. Roram is on there for $5. Mario Strikers Charged, the Wii soccer game. Did you ever play this one, Bender?
Yes.
So any good?
Yeah, it's a decent game.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't remember hearing much about this. This is the Mario soccer game, but that's on the Wii U now, part of the Wii Virtual Console, on there for $20. Letter Quest Remastered's on there for $10, and Jotun Valhalla Edition, as we mentioned, is on the Wii U now as well. It's got a release price of $13.49, so grab it before it goes off sale. Something else we want to mention too came out a week from this past Thursday, or whenever that Nintendo Direct happened. But The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, the last Zelda to hit the Wii, is part of the Wii Virtual Console on the Wii U now as well for $19.99. So go out there and grab that, and that you basically have the whole entire Zelda collection on there for the most part, right? Between that and the 3DS, you've got damn near all of them. So
I think so.
yeah. So Zelda fans delight. And as far as what's coming out this week, we've got Noi 2 Love Devolution, which is going to be on the eShop this Thursday for $9.99. It'll have a 10% discount. So grab it for $8.99 this week. It's part of the Nindies Summer Jam Nintendo promotion. So you'll be able to grab that for 10% off during launch week. Also, Grand Prix Rockin' Racing will be on the eShop this Thursday for $7.99 on the Wii U. For the 3DS guys, what we missed last week is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, a game that's been pretty highly regarded from what I've seen. I've always liked the Phoenix Wright series, so sounds like that one's worth checking out. Picross 3D Round 2, this is another game that showed up on the Nintendo Direct. This is out on the 3DS now. A lot of people were excited about this one. Also available now, Super Castlevania 4, one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. Part of the SNES Virtual Console for the new Nintendo 3DS. Grab it for $7.99. This is an awesome title. It's difficult, but it's a lot of fun. Futuridium EP Deluxe is also on the 3DS now for $7.99. Coming to the 3DS this week, Noi 2 Love will be on there as well for $10 with that same 10% discount if you buy it during launch week. And Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past, one of the highest-selling Dragon Quest games of all time. This was a monster game in Japan. It came out on the PlayStation 1 over here. It's been, remade or re-released now for the 3DS. So check that one out if you're an RPG fan. Brent, it's the end of the new releases.
In record time. Well done, Mr. Boys.
Record time.
So now that we got that out of the way, we can get right into the news. And the big news this week, the PlayStation meeting. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This was a rough week for Sony. I mean, from the start of Monday till the bell rang on Friday, Sony looked like Apollo Creed and Rocky IV up against the rope as the Russian is just finishing them off. I mean, all we needed at that press conference at the end of the week was Apollo's trainer on the belt screaming. It was just a punishing week for PlayStation. We'll talk about everything that led up to Friday, but first let's talk about the PlayStation meeting. First and foremost, I want to get you guys' overall impressions. Boyce, I want to start with you. What were your overall impressions of the PlayStation meeting? We'll jump into the nitty-gritty a little bit, but just overall impressions.
Yeah, I mean, there's no two ways about it. It was a terrible conference. I mean, it was poorly done. It was not something that should have ever been streamed. I mean, it's very difficult to show the things that they showed over a stream, and it was very strange how it was all laid out with the weird crowd and the lack of enthusiasm. It was a really, really strange thing to stream, for sure. And it just, after all the bombastic PlayStation conferences we've had over the last couple of years, like whenever Sony streams something, like that's what we expect from these guys. So regardless of if this was their intended route with this meeting, or if this turned out the way they wanted it to turn out, like this was not something that should have been streamed. It was terrible. It was not good for the viewers. So it just was not a good thing.
Bender?
Yeah, I agree. It was pretty boring. The all the 4K stuff they showed, I mean, that doesn't come through for us unless you have a 4K TV. So if you're watching the stream on your phone, I mean, you're not going to be able to tell a difference in the visual fidelity of those trailers they were showing. To me, the best thing that came out of that whole thing was the trailer for Horizon Zero Dawn. You guys got to see some new gameplay for that game, but all the PS Pro stuff I didn't even care about. I mean, I don't have a 4K TV. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference if I were to get a PS Pro for my HD TV. So I'm not really interested in it right now. Maybe later on down the road I'll get one, but right now I really don't care. So all of that stuff and all the technical stuff that Mark Cerny was going over, and that was just putting me to sleep. So yeah, that Horizon Zero Dawn trailer was cool, but other than that, I mean, it was kind of boring for me.
Franklin?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. It was really underwhelming to say the least. I'm really more so just bummed that everything that leaked before was exactly what we ended up finding out, which really disappointed me. Even further for me, like I really wanted them to talk about VR with this thing, and I think they got like maybe 30 seconds of, oh yeah, well it'll improve, frame rates and visual fidelity, and that was it. Like there was here's a couple levels from Farpoint, which is a game that we've seen one trailer for so far. We've seen about as much footage of it as they showed again. So he's showing me this now. It's like, okay, for all I know, it always looked like this. So thanks. But there were just a lot of really strange moments throughout the thing too. And, like Bender and you guys have mentioned, I don't have a 4K TV. I wasn't watching a 4K stream. So, sure, you can enhance the graphics and visuals and stuff. But I mean, I'm still not, like I'm already not a resolution or a graphics person. So I don't, none that does anything for me. Even like down to the system reveal, it was just so anticlimactic. It's like Andrew House done talking and the thing lowers and there's the consoles and it's like, okay, oh boy. But yeah, definitely not their best showing. It's kind of disappointing.
No, I'm with you guys, and I'll be the first to admit I'm a graphics snob. I like a good-looking game. This press conference was terrible. This was 45 minutes of bad ideas. 45. Every minute was a bad idea to do this press conference. Everything about this press conference, the atmosphere, the excitement, there was none of that. Andrew House looked completely just disinterested up there, and he looked like he knew that this was not going to go well. It's almost like Andrew House was sitting there going, I tried telling him not to do this. He just seemed disinterested. Like you said, the final review of the system itself was, I think that's actually hilarious. I thought that was hilarious. It was so bad.
So tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the new PlayStation 4 lineup.
Nobody says a word. You hear
No
one
clapping.
camera click, probably on accident. That thing is ugly as hell. And you've got no excitement. Dude, that thing was flatline. That entire press conference was 45 minutes of flatline. Okay, so, I mean, you've got that. You've got a terrible atmosphere, no excitement. You're showcasing 4K and HDR stuff on a stream that's at 1080p, if you're lucky, if you have the bandwidth to get to that. So you're not seeing any of that. You're not getting to see this stuff that they're talking about that you should be excited about. To make matters worse, Mark Cerny is sitting there for 20 minutes explaining to you, look how HDR makes this better. See? No, the picture looks the same. 20 minutes of Mark Cerny explaining stuff to viewers who can't see what he's talking about. Terrible idea. Then you got the vague specs. It's got an overclocked CPU, upgraded GPU. Oh, okay. I think the consumers want to know a little bit more. Let's hear that teraflop. Let's hear those buzzwords. Nothing. We got overclocked CPU, upgraded GPU, 1 terabyte hard drive. Oh, great. Okay. Like Frankie says, hey, let's hear about PlayStation VR. Oh, here's Farpoint. As you can see, it looks better, runs smoother. Thanks. I am very interested in PlayStation Pro for VR, and I'll get into why a little bit later. So you've got piss poor VR support in this presentation. You got stuff people can't see on the stream. You got Andrew House up there just falling asleep. Mark Cerny talking about crap nobody can see. You got a couple of developers that just up on stage. They know they don't want to be there. They know this whole thing is a terrible idea. The problem with this PlayStation meeting is, in my opinion, honestly, is when the PlayStation meeting came for the PlayStation 4, there was a lot of excitement. We were on the PlayStation 3 for a good 6 years. People were ready for next gen. We knew, hey, this is the PlayStation 4. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. So everyone was really excited when they talked about it. It was awesome. It was a great press conference. This one, the PlayStation Pro is a mid-generations recycle. That's it. I mean, yes, it has some really good specs, and I am very, very excited to see what this thing can do. I mean, I know some of you guys aren't buying into it. I think this product is good. I thought this presentation was terrible. And, when you don't have that excitement by it, I mean, there's a lot of people that are skeptical of the Pro. Even when it was the Neo, there was a lot of people that weren't sold on it. There was a lot of hype. And that's another problem that I want to address with you guys a little bit. When you had the people throwing around that, well, is there a 4.2 model? And then there's a 5.5 teraflops? People getting excited about that stuff doesn't exist. It's just, this is the same thing that the NX is going to have to deal with. I'm telling you right now, with all the rumors going around, everything. Oh, this is what it does. This has this. When the reveal comes out, it's probably going to underwhelm because everyone's hearing all this great stuff that it does. Who knows if any of it comes true? Had this stuff just stayed out there without having the 5.5 teraflops and all that stuff spreading around, people were uncertain of what to expect. And now everyone's like, oh, well, why can't this thing match Scorpio? I'll talk about that in a little bit. But this press conference was terrible. This press conference is terrible. And I told boys before the show, the PlayStation Pro is just like VR. You can't show this to people on a stream if you can't give them the full benefit of this system. You can't show people VR. You have to try it. And we'll talk about some of the press that actually saw the PlayStation Pro firsthand on a 4K TV. They say it looks awesome. This press conference was a piss-poor idea. It was poorly executed. Man, I mean, just a waste of time. And now you got people who don't want to buy into this thing when it's probably a pretty good system. We'll talk about the specs. This is a good system. But boys, I'm sorry, I digress. Anything else you want to add about the presentation?
No, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head there. But the other thing is personally, I'm comparing this to the reveal of the PlayStation 4, which in my opinion is one of the all-time great conferences that Sony's done. Like, I thought that was a supremely well-done conference when they initially unveiled the PlayStation 4. So I'm thinking when they go and do the PS4 Pro, like, we're going to see something similar. Like, we're going to see, them unveil the system. They're going to come out. They're going to give us, like, the raw data specs on this thing. Then they're going to trot out a series of games that take advantage of this thing, and they've figured out some kind of a way to at least show us, like, a side-by-side comparison or something. Of a game running on a PS4 and a game running on a PS4 Pro. Like, I was expecting them to try out, like, God of War, like, this is what it's going to look like on this and that. And, we didn't get any of that. We got this weird, just very, very strange PlayStation meeting. And, it was a supremely weak conference, unfortunately. So, so I don't know, man.
Man, that thing was frustrating. But all right, so now we've got the impressions out of the way. Let's talk about what they talked about at the PlayStation meeting. First up, the PlayStation 4 Slim is officially confirmed. We now know that thing is real. For all intents and purposes, it's much like it would suggest. It's smaller. It's got that, that version I don't mind. It's the double stack for the Pro that I think looks ugly. The PS4 Slim, I don't think it's terrible. I've seen a lot worse. But it sounds like this thing is better than the original in just about every single way. I still don't like that there's no optical output. I know I'm in the minority there, but if you have Astro headsets or Turtle Beach headsets that rely on an optical port, don't buy the Slim. You're gonna have to buy the Pro because the Pro is the only one that has the optical output.
Mm-hmm.
But boys, what else can you tell us about the Slim? I mean, what else stood out to you about the Slim?
The main thing was that I think this is actually a pretty slick looking unit. When we first saw the pictures and whatnot of it, they weren't the best pictures. But now that we've seen, like, actual photos of it, like, we've seen actual professional photos of it, we've seen people get their hands on it and report that it's actually a good looking system. It's a sleek looking unit that stood out to me first and foremost. Like, yeah, this thing actually doesn't look half bad. It's actually kind of cool looking. So, I don't think you have to worry about adding this to your entertainment system in terms of how it looks. And the other thing is according to Digital Foundry, they've tested this thing out so far, and they've said that for all intents and purposes, it's a smaller, cooler, quieter machine. So this is the kind of stuff we like to see from these Slim refreshes, like 3 or 4 years into the life cycle of these systems. And Sony's generally done a good job with these Slim models. The PS3 Slim, the second generation PlayStation 3 was a really good system. In fact, I still have it under my TV here. The PlayStation 2 Slim was awesome. And it looks like, just so far what we know about this seems like this is a well-made system as well. It comes with the upgraded DualShock 4 as well. So you have, it's basically the same controller, but they've got a couple different materials on the D-pad and on the sticks. A little bit stickier, a little bit better grip on those. And, obviously the light bar kind of shines through a little bit on the touchpad as well. So, so it sounds like if you're looking to just get into the PlayStation 4 family, like, this is the way to go. $299. It's a solid system. Like you said, the one omission is the optical port. So if you do have that and you do want to use that, you're going to have to seek out the original PlayStation 4 model. But for most people, this is going to be a fine entry into the PlayStation 4 family.
Bender, what did you think overall of the look of the PS4 Slim?
I thought it looks fine. It's a cool refresh of the original PS4. I mean, it's definitely going to be a good deal for people who haven't jumped into PlayStation yet. So it looks pretty cool. And isn't there supposed to be some sort of bundle later on or something?
Yes, actually, this week the Uncharted 4 bundle, which according to Best Buy, I don't know, has this been fixed yet, or is this still up there? But you can pre-order the PlayStation 4 Slim Uncharted 4 bundle, and according to Best Buy, it's not on Amazon, but Best Buy, you get the Platinum wireless headset as well. In a $299 bundle, you're going to get a $60 game and $160 headphones.
Dude, it's still on here. I'm looking at it right now.
Is it still?
Still says Platinum wireless headset bundle.
The Platinum wireless headset is the new headset that was announced at the PlayStation meeting. It is their top of the line, 7.1 surround sound headset with 3D audio for $160. This doesn't come out to a holiday, but Best Buy is apparently throwing that in with the PS4 Slim. So you're basically spending $299 to get what? How many do that? 300 plus 160 is 460. 500. So you're saving $220 if you get it through Best Buy. I'm going to say that that's a misprint, and there's going to be a lot of canceled pre-orders come Monday morning.
Dude, it's in the product features too. They have Platinum wireless headset.
That's so strange. It's everywhere. Like I thought maybe somebody put it on the main page and I'll get rid of it. Dude, it's in like 3 different spots.
Man.
So the Platinum wireless headset will be thrown in there as a little caveat if you pre-order at Best Buy.
I'm tempted to
$160 headphones.
Tempted to order one of these and see what happens, man.
Just see if it goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah. If at the very least, if it doesn't ship, they're like, well, here's a $160 gift card to Best Buy, and then you just take back the system and use your $160 towards whatever you please.
Huh.
But so yeah, the Uncharted 4 bundle launches on Friday this week with the PlayStation Slim for $299, and that comes out on Friday. So, Frankie, any thoughts on the look of the PlayStation 4 Slim, the new look?
No, it looks fine. Looks like a slim console.
It does. Very, very slim. So that comes out this week. The PlayStation Pro will be releasing on November 10th at the price of $399, which I think is a very, very good price, mind you. I think that's a great price, all things considered. But let's jump into the PlayStation Pro a little bit more. We've got some specs here. First up, they didn't announce the specs at the press conference, but you could find them online afterwards. This thing, basically, like Frankie said, is what we saw, a couple months ago. The CPU is the same one with 8 cores, overclocked to 2.1 gigahertz compared to the original 1.6. The GPU is an AMD Radeon-based graphics engine that can kick out 4.2 teraflops, which is a vast improvement over the 1.84 teraflops of the original PlayStation 4. The memory is still the 8 gigabytes of GDDR5. It's interesting. Somebody had asked Masayasu Ito of SIE engineering division lead on why the memory wasn't increased, and this is what he had to say. He mentioned that a change would push studios to develop in compliance with that larger memory pool, and this could cause compatibility problems. Due to that, Sony decided to keep it at 8 gigs. So basically, they didn't want to make it too wide of a field, from developing on the PlayStation 4 to developing on the PlayStation Pro. Because in the end, as PlayStation said, these are 2 PlayStation 4s. There have to be some similarities. You can't have one being vastly superior to the other one because you have to worry about how do you develop this, and do you have enough time and resources to hit the marks of the PlayStation Pro. Also comes with 1 terabyte of storage. Yahoo, that'll be filled up after 6 games. The Blu-ray drive, just like the PlayStation 4 now, but it does not have the Ultra 4K drive, which is just here's the thing. It's baffling because it's Sony and they have the patent to Blu-ray, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. I have not gone physical on Blu-rays in a long time, unless there's a special steelbook. I'm mostly through Apple. I'm digital, but man, there must be a lot of 4K TV owners out there because this was a deal breaker. No 4K Blu-ray drive. That was, there's people, they're selling their PS4. They're done with Sony because it doesn't have a 4K drive. Gotcha. Cool. In terms of networking, same wireless, but this time it'll also support 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is awesome.
We should mention, too, that that's on the Slim as well. That's an upgrade on the Slim. That's the one upgrade over the previous PlayStation 4. That 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi is on the Slim model as well.
I get some pretty beefy speeds on 5G, man. I would.
Mhm.
Could we finally see download speeds and full usage of your internet?
Maybe.
Man, I'll be excited to find out. We've also got typical HDMI. The digital optical cable is on the PlayStation Pro version. Yahoo! The wattage here, this is beefy. The PlayStation 4 and the Slim kicks out about 165 watts during gameplay. The Pro will churn out 310 watts. So that baby's going to chew up some energy. And then lastly, USB ports. You've got 3 on the PlayStation Pro compared to 2 on the Slim. You've got 2 on the front and 1 on the rear.
And USB 3.1 as well.
Oh, 3.1? Nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at these specs, okay, it doesn't have a 4K drive. Ben, we talked about that before the show. This is obviously a move to keep the costs down on the system. And everyone's like, well, the Xbox Slim has a 4K drive. Yeah, if you look at the specs of the Pro, it craps all over the Xbox One S. Okay, the Xbox One S is the same GPU that's on the Xbox One now. And the PS4 has twice the power on the GPU. There's a reason the price is still $399. This thing craps on the Xbox One S in terms of graphical power and CPU. So to keep the price down, they had to eliminate the 4K drive. And boys, there was something else that you mentioned that they did to kind of drive that price down. What was that?
Yeah, one of the things, and one of these articles mentions it, Brent, from one of these people that goes hands on with it. In fact, I'm going to read it. It comes from VentureBeat. I think they've phrased it well, but they say, look, it's not native 4K, but as you see for yourself, it's perceptively so close that you wouldn't be able to see the difference. That's a quote from Gorilla, I believe. They go on further in the article to say that the value proposition here is simple, and I like this because I know. And here's the thing, Brent. So you have to separate the conference from the product.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sony comes out and puts on just a terrible conference, one of the worst we've ever seen. So they come out and put out this awful conference that just doesn't give the people the information that they need about their product. So we then have to separate this awful press conference from the actual product itself, which, like you said, has some very strong benefits for gamers. And I think this is it right here in a nutshell. The value proposition is simple. For $400, you'll get games that look and play better on your television. They'll support higher resolutions and more realistic colors thanks to HDR. If you decide to get a PlayStation VR, Sony confirmed you'll also get faster frame rates and higher resolutions in those games as well. What you won't get here is a generational leap in graphical enhancements. The Pro is not going to make today's PS4 games, which are equivalent to the medium settings on a PC, look like they are running on ultra settings. So if you want today's PS4 games running at 4K with HDR support, both features that can impact image quality, then the Pro will deliver that. And I think the key here is that, especially in a TV setting, like you can put out a game that's either 1440p natively or 1800p natively, and you can upscale to 2160 if you have to, and the difference is not going to be that perceptible as we currently stand. In fact, a lot of these developers have said that even more so than 4K, this HDR stuff is even more important in terms of the image quality. So when you go out to grab your 4K TV or the one that you eventually want to look at, you have to make sure you get HDR on your TV. If you don't, you're like wasting your money at this point. So make sure that whenever anybody out there gets a 4K TV, make sure that it has HDR on it, because that's the thing that you want to do. But and this is key here, Brent, to be able to bring this thing out at $399. That's what we talked about. Like, this is the magical price point, I think, for this type of machine. This is going to come out at $399. It's going to give us from what we understand from what the press has said, a nicely upgraded experience for this price. And we had to lose some things with the 4K, and that HDR or UHD drive. That's another thing too. Sony has a 4K streaming service that they have on their TVs, and I'd be shocked if that didn't make its way over to PlayStation 4 Pro at some point. So
Mhm.
I'm sure that factors into the Blu-ray drive thing as well. But for them to make a few concessions here and there to get this thing out of $399, I think console gamers have shown this is one of their main concerns when they buy this stuff is price. So if
Mhm.
they're able to slide in here at this $399 price, from what we can glean from what the Scorpio is going to eventually be, that's going to be an expensive box.
Mhm.
So they're coming out at $399. We don't know what the Scorpio is going to eventually be, but that's a very attractive price point for the type of machine that people are going to be able to get for this. So I think just from reading about it, it sounds like they made some smart concessions with the machine. We'll ultimately see. The problem now becomes delivering that message to everybody. Like they've got to now
Mhm.
change the messaging from this press conference that was awful. So they've got to go in
Mhm.
there and fix everything that they did with that, and it's going to behoove them to get out to the press and to kind of hold these things to kind of get the messaging straight again with this thing.
Mhm.
It kind of reminds me of the way the Xbox One was initially unveiled. You know,
Mhm.
a weird conference with all this weird messaging. They then had to set for it and go out there and try to fix all that stuff. So this is what Sony's in with it's not as extreme as that. The PlayStation 4 is already a popular product that's in many people's homes, but they've got to, if they want the Pro to catch on, like they're gonna have to get out there and fix the messaging on that.
Big time. I mean, because right now the message is a mess.
Mhm.
It was. I mean, that whole thing was a disaster. And I think, again, this is something that could have been avoided had they just gone with a blog post and a sizzle reel, and maybe put out some 4K pictures on the site to show these differences, just so people can actually see them to some degree. But in the end, you'd have to be like, hey, look, you need to come see this, just like VR. Everyone always drew all their conclusions about VR before they even tried it. Then I went and tried it. I was unsure. Then I tried it. Hey, this thing's pretty sweet. So again, this is how I'm going to treat PlayStation Pro. I've got one pre-ordered. I need it anyways for the setup that I'm trying to make happen. But like I said, I'll probably go to a store once they get them and take a look and see how it looks. And I'm sure once I see it, then I'll be able to form a final opinion on it. But all I know is the people that did see it in action, that hung out after the PlayStation meeting, got to demo some of the games, go hand on with the system, they all had glowing things to say. The system looked great. And these games look great. Even on 1080p displays, these games look great and they ran great. So, I mean, I only have a 1080p, and I'm looking. I'm trying to make some moves right now. I'm trying to sell a 980 graphics card. I'm trying to sell some headphones, and then I'm going to try to sell my TV because there's a Vizio 50-inch that does 4K and HDR10 for $9.99 at Best Buy. I'm definitely looking to get that. If I can make some moves and not be like, hey, Melissa, I'm going to go drop $1,000 on a TV because we don't need that. But if I can find one, I'll find a way to get there. I'm looking forward to it, and then I'll be interested. But it's just it's, I don't know. I want to get Bender's or Frankie's thoughts. I mean, Frankie, when you look at these specs, I mean, what's your thoughts on the Pro?
Like I said before, it's not doing anything for me at all. It's actually kind of concerning me because I'm starting to think that, like, looking at the specs in this thing now, like especially the new GPU, but then the fact that they didn't really do anything with anything else outside of overclocking the CPU, I feel like this is kind of setting them up to do another one of these in another 2 years when the other components are going to be cheaper to actually
Mm-hmm.
put in there to actually start taking advantage of that thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my main turn off of this. Is I feel like this is the first of at least one more iteration before we get to the next gen. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just like I said, I'm really completely disinterested in this thing. I'm not going to go out and buy a 4K TV to go back and play Shadow of Mordor or Infamous Second Son again to see a nicer picture. Like I don't care. The games already,
Mm-hmm.
to me, they already look great. I'm playing Deus Ex on Xbox One right now, which apparently is 900p or whatever, and it looks fantastic. So I
Mm-hmm.
know Deus Ex is one of the ones that supports the HDR and is getting one of these 4K boosts on the PS4 Pro. God, that name is so terrible. It's such a terrible name. So I'm completely disinterested in it. Although I do like the design of it. I know you're not a big fan of it, but
Oh,
I
really?
think it looks pretty cool.
Man,
What
I almost
the?
threw up when I saw that thing.
Yeah, I don't know what you're so upset about with the design either. I don't think it's that bad.
It's just sorry, man. When Andrew House was holding it, I thought he was holding, like, I don't know, I don't know what that. I mean, that thing is massive, and I just don't like the double stack look. So I told somebody on Twitter, somebody needs to make a meme with some melted butter on top and a bottle of syrup next to it, and it'll just look like pancakes. I can't. I don't like the look of it. I mean, I like the slim model. I just don't like the double stack look. If you want to make a bigger slim, do that. Don't do a double stack. I don't know. I don't like that.
PlayStation Big Mac.
Yeah.
There you go. The PlayStation Big Mac.
Dude, you start overclocking stuff, things start running hot. So that thing has to have a severe amount of cooling in it to keep that thing running without burning them out.
Yeah, and I get that part, but at the same time, I don't think Sony's just going to put out something that's just going to burn out. I mean, I think, when you look at the system, it's overclocking to 2.1. The teraflops are there. It's a much stronger GPU. I'm not too concerned about the CPU not being able to handle the GPU, simply because if you look at games like Uncharted 4, that I don't remember any chugging in that game. That's a graphically intense game. You look at games like Ratchet and Clank. I didn't see any chugging in that. That's a graphically intense game. So if you boost the GPU and you have the CPU overclocking, it's just I don't think they're going to release something that's going to just completely melt down. It's going to cause issues. Like Ben and I were talking before the show.
3 stacks big.
I understand that, yeah, and so it can breathe, and so if it runs hot, it runs hot. I guess I don't see the problem with systems running hot. My PS4 now runs hot. My Xbox One Slim got a little warm the other day, so I don't understand the fear of it running hot. Yes, PCs run hot. Everything runs hot.
Well, I'm saying though, like you can't pack that much power into a super compact design like the Slim. Like you start packing all this powerful stuff, and it starts heating up when that thing starts actually running. You need a lot of room there to cool it off. That's why it has to be bigger. It has to be.
No, and I get that why it's bigger. I'm just saying I don't understand why there's such a concern with the overclocking. That's what I don't get.
Oh, because it's taking that initial processor as it already is. When you start overclocking stuff to get better performance out of it, it heats up more. So it comes to a point where it'll actually overheat and shut down. Like that's typically when you start overclocking things. That's when you find the limits of things. Is when it starts getting unstable.
Right, but I mean, as we mentioned, it's a double stack, so there's a lot of room for it to breathe. I mean, like I said, my PS4 has one vent. The only time my thing has ever come close to heating up is when I had it locked off in my cupboard on accident. I forgot about it. The screen went red. But I'm just saying, I'm sure they've done tests where if you play for 4 or 5 hours, the thing's not going to shut down on you.
Well, no, I'm not.
And
I'm
they're
not
not going to.
saying it is. Like I said, I'm just saying like you need room. That's why this thing has to be a lot bigger.
Oh, I know. And like I said, I get that part. I guess I was just confused why there was such a concern about overheating, because they're not going to release a product that overheats after 4 hours or 6 hours.
But I'm saying that's why they need. That's all I was trying to say. It has to be bigger. You can't.
Oh,
you can't keep
okay,
it small.
okay. But I mean, if I'm looking at the GPU being twice that size, and you look at a game like Uncharted that's running on the basic PlayStation 4 stuff, if you take a GPU and double it, and you have the CPU, you're going to see the differences. And that's what we saw when they ran. I mean, we didn't see it on the stream itself. They finally released like an actual version of the Horizon video. Oh, yeah. And that thing looks nuts. That thing doesn't look that thing doesn't look good. That thing looks freaking nuts. And that's going to be one of the benefits of the Pro. And I don't mind that. And so, I mean, that's why I think this thing is targeting gaming enthusiasts who want the awesome specs. And the VR people, even though they didn't get the love they deserved at this terrible press conference, even with the Pro, if I get I want the best VR experience. And that's who they're targeting with this thing. They're targeting people who want the ultimate experience with PlayStation 4. And even if I still get the $500 VR, the what's that set?
The launch bundle.
The launch bundle. And I get a PlayStation Pro, I'm still getting the best VR experience on console at a much cheaper rate than going with a decked out PC and Oculus. So the PlayStation 4, again, is a good-looking product. It offers a lot to gamers, but that whole message was lost in a terrible, terrible press conference. And that's why it's just, that's my concern with people trying to dump all over the Pro. It's not, the Pro is a good system. And for $399, you're getting some awesome stuff. But all that message was lost. And I can't stress enough how terrible that press conference was. And that's all people talked about. And it ruined the mood, and it soured the mood, and people just took a negative approach to the Pro. It's strange. Go ahead, Frankie.
I think too a big problem that both of these systems, not just the Pro, but also the Scorpio when that's unveiled, like we still have to keep in mind that the base PS4 that we have now still has to run the same games. So
Mhm.
regardless, and like I mentioned, that this thing feel like it's holding itself back, but it has to, and I think that's the problem. Like people have the wrong mentality about it, and that's kind of how I've been thinking about it throughout the week. I'm like, yes, I want a more powerful system, but ideally, I want like when we move on to the next generation, I don't want what we have now. We're what 3-4 years into the new consoles, and we still have stuff coming on 360 and PS3. When the PS5 and the Xbox 3 or whatever they name that stupid thing come out, no more PS4, no more Xbox One. That new generation starts. This stuff is too graphic intense for everything else. We have to leave everything else behind. No more of that. You've done your iterations of these consoles. By the time we get to the next boxes, like I want these things to be as tapped out as possible. And like that's the mentality that I'm trying to like get myself to. Like, okay, look, it's an iteration. Like this isn't meant to be like this mind blowing, like amazingly far superior box to the one that came out 3 years ago. Like this is just something for as we're getting into 4K, like this is just kind of evolving. It's kind of moving along with the times rather than waiting until where 4K is the standard and then the new consoles come out and they're essentially playing catch up. Like this is consoles kind of starting to move along with the technology, and that's kind of what I'm trying to like get my mind around and kind of not bag on this thing so much for. But
And see, here's the thing that I think is going on, boys. I'll let you talk in a second. I know you got something to add, but here's the thing I think that's the problem with what's going on right now. PlayStation has the market share. They're in a good spot with the PlayStation 4. That thing has done its job. It's done very, very well. They're doing a mid-cycle refresh. And so that's why you mentioned the PlayStation 4 Pro has to be somewhat similar to from the 4. It can't get too far away from it because they got to be able to develop for both. And you don't want to see any concessions being made to the base model in order to to max out the Pro model. So they had to keep them sort of close. They're doing a mid-generation thing. Xbox, on the other hand, had a terrible launch, and it just has not been. Wasn't able to have the success PlayStation 4 had early on. Let's say it had success early on, but it paled in comparison to the PlayStation 4. It had the reputation of being the less powerful console. It had the bad publicity following the reveal. So I mean, it kind of had a lot going against it. Microsoft, in a reactionary move, announced the Scorpio. Now, I know that we've beaten on this before and people have their opinions. I'm sorry, the Scorpio is next gen. Okay, the Scorpio is a next gen system. If you look at those specs, that's a next gen system. Xbox is going next gen with the Scorpio. That thing is a beast. Okay, I'm curious to see. I think Microsoft. I want to see how they're going to be able to create games for the Xbox One and create games for the Xbox Scorpio. And not, dude, the differences between the Xbox One and the Scorpio is incredible. Incredible. Not slightly, not a little, like much better, like the PS4 Pro and the PS4. It's an incredible difference. That thing has a GPU that is the same as the 1070, just shy of it. That is a massive system. Supposedly going to have 12 gigabytes of memory. That's a massive system. That CPU is going to be a hog. Xbox Scorpio is next gen. And they're reacting. Sony will have their PlayStation 5. And that'll be their reaction to the Scorpio. But right now, PlayStation is still PlayStation 4. The PlayStation Pro is just a mid-cycle refresh. Xbox Scorpio is a next-gen console. And I'm all for it. I think it's awesome what they did. I think it's awesome what Xbox is doing with the Scorpio. I can't wait to get one. I think it's great that they're doing that. That keeps things moving forward. That keeps the competition going. Now, that's going to make Sony have to react somewhere down the line with the PlayStation 5. But, I'm sorry, these are two different scenarios. The Scorpio is next gen. The PlayStation 4 Pro is not.
Mhm.
Boys, I'm sorry. I know you might have some stuff you wanted to add.
No, and I was just gonna say, when Frankie was talking about the the iterations of these things. I mean, if you read between the lines of what Microsoft is talking about and what Sony's doing here, I mean, I think this is how it is now. I mean, we're gonna have these iterative consoles. It's gonna be the way of the future now. And whether we get another one a couple years down the line or 3 or 4 years down the line, whatever it ends up being, this is the way things are gonna be now. And we just have to look to Apple for the model because that's what these guys have referenced. When a new iPhone comes out, it's got a new processor and new fancy stuff in it, and all of the old games work on it. It plays all the old games, and then when the new games come out, They run on the old devices still, but they're even better on the new Apple device. And then eventually, a few devices down the line, those new games don't work for the old devices anymore. So if you want to play the new ones, you have to upgrade. And I think that's what we're looking at with the PlayStation and the Xbox systems now. They're gonna put out these systems, and the games are gonna work for the old system for a while. Then eventually, they're only gonna make stuff for the new system. And that's eventually the point that we're gonna get to. I don't know if we'll be there with the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio, because both companies have made a point. Like, look, the same games on this system are on this system. So I don't see either one of them like doing this with this iteration. But eventually, we're going to get to the point where it's going to turn into something like a phone situation, if I had to guess. And once again, I just think VentureBeat hits it on the head here with this quote. The value proposition here is simple. For $400, you'll get games that look and play better on your television. They'll support higher resolutions and more realistic colors thanks to HDR. That's it. That's all we're talking about here. We're talking about people who want better looking games. That's it. If that doesn't bother you, cool. Like, you can stick with the PlayStation 4 you'll have a great experience. But if you want to get into the 4K revolution, you want to get a new TV, you want to get something with HDR support, and you want your games to be able to take advantage of it, that's what the system's here for. That's it. So that the messaging there is simple to me. If you want better looking games, this is the way you do it. If you don't, cool. What you have is fine. Or get the Slim if you want to get into the PlayStation family. So I just think they muddied this up with this press conference. Like, this message should have been very simple and straightforward. Your games will look better on the Pro. End of story. But they just beat around the bush and made this way more complicated than it needed to be.
There's one thing, and I want to add this in because I'm not the only one that believes that the Xbox Scorpio is next gen. Thomas Puha of Remedy was asking people about their thoughts on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and somebody mentioned something about the PlayStation 4 Pro is not this huge leap, and he agreed. He goes, that's the point of the PlayStation Pro being a mid-step system. This is a high-end PS4, not a sequel, which Scorpio is to me. So I'm not the only one who thinks that way. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's four times more powerful than a standard Xbox.
The Scorpio to me is sexy as hell. Yes, it is. I believe that. I think it's sexy, but that thing is next gen. I was just reading an article, and this must have been released some underneath the radar, but Frankie had mentioned that we'll see another iteration of the PlayStation 4. But Andrew House said, we think that for a really substantial period of time, this is our PlayStation 4 lineup. Now, whether or not substantial period of time means a year or until this is it. But he said the PS4, the PS4 Slim, and the Pro are the PlayStation 4 lineup. We're very comfortable with that. So I honestly, I believe that the Scorpio will be Microsoft's next-gen console. And then PlayStation will be forced to, hey, look, let's start working on the PlayStation 5 or whatever they make next. I mean, I just believe that that's what's happening here. And I mean, if you think I'm wrong, listeners, or if you have an opinion on the matter, we want to hear from you. Send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com. We want to get your thoughts on the PlayStation Pro. Do the specs match up to what you expected of it? Are you happy with it? Is the 4K U drive really that important? Were you dependent on that? Is that a deal breaker? I'm very curious to hear how many of you think that's actually a deal breaker where come November 10th, you're going to have a 4K TV to utilize that. And if you want to say, well, I want it to be future-proof, I understand that. This is a gaming console. There's going to be 4K Netflix, it's all that. But they are focusing on games to keep that price down that's appealing to consumers. If you want to get a 4K Blu-ray player, get an Xbox One Slim. That's the cheapest one on the market, and that's awesome. But the Xbox One Slim is a media gaming device with awesome games. Don't get me wrong. There's some awesome games. But the PlayStation 4 Pro is going to be for gaming enthusiasts that want to see better-looking games, better-performing games, and don't really care about the media stuff. And PlayStation is trying to get that in your hands for a much cheaper price than what it could have been had they had the full 4K, had they had the 4K drive. That thing would have been priced higher. It'd probably be somewhere closer to what the Scorpio is going to be. Because that thing's not going to be cheap.
That's the fascinating thing, man. When they announced that Scorpio price with what we know is going to be in that thing, just if you just go off the graphics card alone, the 1070 is $400 by itself. Just for the GPU.
So, like I said, yes, the parts might be cheaper come next year. Yeah, there's a lot of parts in that, dude. That's just one graphics card.
Yeah.
You got a CPU. You've got 12 gigabytes of memory. And then everything else that goes into the secret sauce and whatnot in there, that thing's going to be pricey.
Mhm.
And I mean, if that thing comes in at $399, then boom, Microsoft is brilliant. But there's no way that thing comes in at $399.
Yeah.
$499 at the minimum.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't know. But it's just, we want to hear from you. If you got thoughts on the PlayStation 4 Pro, we want to hear from you. Now, boys, after the press conference, Sony did update their blog. This thing actually would have been suffice. Had they just stuck with this, and like I said, a sizzle reel. They had a fact go up on their site with a lot of information. I mean, a lot of information. You got to see a lot of like what the system can do. There were a couple things that kind of went unmentioned throughout the day, but we thought were really impressive regarding the share features on the PlayStation 4 Pro. One of the questions on the facts is, will there be any changes to remote play or share play with PlayStation Pro? Yes. PlayStation Pro's increased power can offer significant streaming benefits if the internet bandwidth is fast enough. Remote play users on PC, Mac, or Xperia will be able to stream gameplay from a PlayStation Pro system at up to 1080p. Share play users on standard PS4 or PS4 Pro will be able to stream gameplay from a PS4 Pro system at up to 1080p.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Share play at 1080p is sweet.
That's awesome. With both remote play and share play, PS4 Pro's adaptive streaming technology will attempt to optimize streaming quality to make most of available internet bandwidth. For best experience, we recommend a 15 megabits per second or higher connection and using a wired connection, not Wi-Fi, whenever possible. So you've got that for the share. The other thing that's awesome is, will the share button capture high-quality game content with PS4 Pro games? The answer is, when playing a game with PS4 Pro features, using DualShock 4's share button will generate higher resolution gameplay clips and screenshots compared to the standard PS4. Specifics will vary by game, but some games will support full 1080p video capture and screenshots up to 4K, which is that's impressive considering what we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that's awesome, will I be able to broadcast my gameplay at higher settings? Yes. At launch, you will be able to broadcast a YouTube stream at as high as 1080p, 60 frames per second.
Sweet.
That is impressive. So, I mean, there are some benefits, not so much the graphics stuff, but also the share features are getting a boost. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on that fact. I recommend, if you get a chance, go over to the website, check out the fact. There's a lot of good stuff on there. Boys, was there anything else that stood out to you on there?
I think that's the main thing, the streaming stuff in there. And I think a lot of the, we've talked about a lot of the stuff that's in here, but it just kind of, it streamlines what this thing can do. And it gives you some clear and concise answers to some of these questions, which, once again, the press conference did not do. So if you have some questions about the PlayStation 4 Pro or how it works or what it's capable of, go check out this fact on the PlayStation blog. I think it's pretty well done for the most part.
Mm-hmm. A couple other things we want to talk about. We saw a bunch of games running on the PlayStation Pro. We saw videos after the fact. They uploaded 4K videos so you could actually see some of these games, how they will look. We got to see some Spider-Man footage. We got to see a not terribly long demo of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Dude, I'm curious what you think of this, because this is pretty much the first time we've seen Mass Effect.
Yeah,
So-
they were just like, hey, here we are, and it's running on PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah, and it
And,
was a weird demo where you're just walking around and then there's a cutscene and then that's it.
Yeah, that was it. And like I said, this whole presentation, this is just one more thing that was really dumb about this presentation. You have a guy come on stage, say very little about the game, show you this very weird demo, and then we're done.
And then
It's
tell
just
you
like,
you'll
man,
you'll
what-
see the whatever official reveal on November 7th during N7 day.
Yeah, buddy. There were a couple of games where they showed how games would look improved on a 1080p display. One of them was For Honor. I thought For Honor looked awesome.
Mhm.
When they showed that on 1080p on a Pro, I was like, that looks sick. I mean, that looked really, really good. And I think the other one they showed, oh gosh, what was the other? Was it It wasn't Days Gone.
Paragon.
Paragon, yeah, Paragon looked really, really good. Some added effects, stuff to the screen. It looked really, really good as well. So, did any of what videos? I know Bender. What'd you think of Horizon Zero Dawn, man?
That looked really cool. I was happy to see some more gameplay of that game. That game continually impresses me. To see her climb up on that huge like brontosaurus creature with the Starship Enterprise head, that was pretty cool. That was pretty impressive. I think that game looks amazing. So yeah, I'm every time I see more of that game, it just gets me more excited for it.
Mm-hmm. Frankie, any of the games that they showed on the stream, anything stand out to you?
Not really. Nothing new. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn continues to look awesome. So still super excited about that game.
What do you think of Mass Effect Andromeda?
It was weird. I was like, so this is the Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay reveal, huh? That's everything I'm sure everyone wanted it to be.
Every time we get something Mass Effect, first, what was the trailer we saw a couple months ago?
Oh, E3.
We were all watching. We're like,
the
like,
wireframe E3 demo.
Here's this first time to show an awesome trailer, and you get wireframes, and you got some character sitting up, and you're like, oh, she must be, and then it just cuts away, and you're like, oh, damn it. So you get some weak ass like reveal trailer. And then you get a gameplay trailer of one of the main characters just hopping along, like platforming. And there's like lights, there's stuff coming down from the ceiling, and then something blows up. And it's like, can we just get a good Mass Effect reveal? Whether it be gameplay or a trailer, something to get people excited. There's literally been nothing shown from Mass Effect that anyone's like, oh my God, mind blown.
For a game that's supposed to be coming really early next year, am I the only one that's kind of concerned, like, we're not getting any kind of real anything anytime we hear about this game? Even what we saw, like, here, we're going to walk around this one spot. Okay. Combat,
with you.
something? Like, what the hell? Mass Effect is a huge deal. Why? What is going on with that game?
The last two things we've seen from Mass Effect remind me of, like, hey, we're demoing this. Here's the engine. Those are the type of demos we're seeing. Like, here, look at the lighting and look at how expansive the area is. That's it. And then you get the E3 press conference. Oh, here's some wireframes. I mean, here's the game. Here's what the system it's running at. It's just like, can we get something like exciting? And I mean, this thing's coming out before E3 next year, right?
Supposedly.
Maybe.
No way. I have no.
I don't know how early in 2017 we see Mass Effect. I mean, I'm not sure if they're shooting for this fiscal year or not. I'm not 100% sure what the plan is with Mass Effect. I assume they wanted to get it out this fiscal year, but I don't know, what games they have planned for next year. So maybe they'll feel more comfortable releasing it after April 1st next year. But yeah, I mean, I don't. At the earliest, this thing comes out in March. I mean, we've heard a few things from around the industry that people want to take more of the like Fallout approach, where you release the game or you unveil the game closer to its release. Like we've heard stuff about that, like more people wanting to take that route, but I'm not sure that's the plan with Mass Effect. I just think that's the way it's kind of turned out. Is they just haven't been ready to show it for whatever reason. So yeah, I don't think this thing gets out too early in 2017.
I don't even know how they can compare that to the Fallout 4 approach. I mean, we literally heard of nothing from Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And then they showed this awesome trailer that got people hyped, and boom, 6 months now it's coming out. We've seen 2 Mass Effect trailers or gameplay footage that has just been, what is this? It's just, you've had 2 opportunities to get people hyped. Mass Effect is not just some new franchise that people have forgotten about. This thing is massive. And it's just
effective.
Like, it's massively effective. And it's just like, can we get something, please? Just throw us a bone.
It's a franchise with a diehard fan base, so they are frothing at the mouth to get some actual tangible information and footage of this game.
And then the other trailer I thought that looked pretty cool was Days Gone, showing the time lapse camera. Again, that was a game that you couldn't see the HDR effect, but what's up?
That was the dumbest one too. Now that we turn on the HDR, it's like, what'd you do?
Yeah, that's the one where I was like, I think the thing I liked about it the most was when he threw the Molotov cocktail into the crowd, and you could see, even though the HDR, you couldn't see that the lighting of it when the Molotov went off. I thought that looked really, really cool. Seeing people all running around with the lighting, I thought it looked really good. I can only imagine how awesome it looked in HDR, but I thought that was a cool demo. Even though I just have no interest in that game, I thought it looked pretty good.
If you read about that demo too, like that was a very impressive demo for the people that
Mhm.
saw it hands on. That was
That's what pisses
that
me
was
off.
one of the most impressive ones, in fact, from what I've read about it. The other one I want to mention is Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but what Crystal Dynamics is doing with this one, they're putting different modes in the PlayStation 4 Pro version. So you've got a 4K 30 presentation with HDR support that, according to Digital Foundry, strikes an impressive balance between visual features and resolution. You've got 1080p 30, which ramps up the quality settings to the max. So it's like playing at max settings at 1080p. And then they've got an unlocked frame rate mode for 1080p that sees performance vary between 40 and 60 frames. This is something similar to the original definitive edition of the game, of the first Tomb Raider on PlayStation 4. So I think this is kind of a cool approach. And I'm wondering how many developers are going to take advantage of this, but being able to give people options like, look, do you want the frame rate and the lower resolution, or do you want the higher resolution and the lower frame rate with the improved textures? Like, how do you want to play your game? We saw a little bit of this with the Neo demo a few months back as well, when they brought that out. Like, you could choose if you wanted the higher frame rate or the higher resolution. So I think it's cool if they just put this a simple thing in the menu, give you a couple options, you can toggle it how you want it. I'd like to see more developers do that as well.
And everyone's like, oh man, I don't know, is this gonna be too much work for the developers? No, this is what they do on PC.
Mhm.
There's literally settings that you can change on PC. So, I mean, this isn't a stretch for these developers. I mean, if they've been console exclusive for a long time, I'm sure there's some adjustment period, but this has basically been a PC gaming thing for a long time. A lot of these developers have worked on PC versions of their games. So, adding in these features shouldn't be a stretch. But I think it is interesting that you mentioned that. This is kind of something new to console gaming, but we've seen it in Neo. We've seen it in Rainbow Six Siege, where you can unlock the V-Sync and in terrorist hunt mode. So, pretty cool that we're seeing that kind of stuff to kind of give you options. Do I want the unlock frame rate, or do I want the max settings? Up to you what you want to do. The fact that the PS4 Pro allows you to do that is, I think that's an awesome feature to have.
And I think if they do it this way, like, there's a way to do it for console gamers that's something similar to this. It's easy. They give you 3 options. Like, do you want to play this mode, or this mode? You get to choose it. Like, they don't have to put sliders in there where you change all the different stuff that you do on PC. But if they make it simple, just put something in the menu where you can change it between 2 or 3 options. I think console gamers could get behind that.
One more thing gamers don't have to worry about. Gamers will not be charged for PS4 Pro or HDR patches.
Yeah, how about that story that shot out there? Like,
it got lost in translation.
Yeah, it was
from
like
an executive in Japan.
A piss poor Japanese translation. And people just started running with it. It was like, whoa, hold on a minute here. There's nobody's charging for patches. Just settle down. Here's a miscommunication. So
yeah, you know what though, with the week Sony had, I'm not surprised. People, you know what, it wouldn't have put it past me had they go. Oh, by the way, we're charging for patches going forward. I'd be like, okay, well, you've just killed yourself. Congratulations. Yeah, it was just a strange week for Sony, man. I mean, it's really just been a weird week. It's unfortunate because the PS4 Pro is taking the brunt of it due to poor messaging at a lousy press conference that shouldn't have taken place. And I don't know, man. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to touch on with the PlayStation Pro?
I think we covered everything there. It's like, look, I think at the end of the day, I see value in this product. I think you see value in the product. And, I'm just going to go back to it again. But like Venture Beat said, if you want a system that plays your games and they look better, like, that's what it's for. If you don't, cool. You are totally fine with your current PlayStation 4 and the Slim. Like, this is a luxury product. That's how it needs to be, messaged and delivered to people. And, I think if they can get that squared away, like, people will start to understand what goes into this. And the other thing too, Brent, is you have to, like, you now have to pay attention to what display you're using. We've alluded to it on the show here, but in order to take advantage of some of these things we're talking about, you got to have a 4K TV. Not only a 4K TV, but a 4K TV with HDR support. That's the important thing. As of right now, there's no HDR support on anything other than 4K TVs. That's another thing too. HDR support coming to all models of PlayStation, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a 4K TV and you have a regular PlayStation, you'll at least be able to take advantage of that feature. But so you really got to pay attention to the TV that you buy now. And not only do you need to take that stuff into account, but you need to take into account lag and how this stuff performs with your systems. So you've got to do a lot of research when you buy your TV now. You got to make sure that this display matches up with what you're expecting out of the system. So if you can wrap your head around that and just wrap your head around the idea that the PlayStation 4 is simply a better looking way to play your games, then you might be able to find some value in it.
And I want the listeners to understand that none of us here are trying to push you to pick up a PlayStation 4. We're not trying to damage control. Look, I had multiple people send me tweets and texts after that press conference because we were tweeting out about it. I was texting some friends and like, do I need to buy this? Is this a system I need? Absolutely not. You do not need this system. Your PlayStation 4 will suit you just fine until the next generation of console comes. This is for people who want the best performance possible with their console. That's simple. It's simple as that. There's no confusion about who's this targeting. This is targeting gaming enthusiasts that want the best performing system, the best performing PlayStation 4. This is for people who are invested in VR that want the best experience for their VR. They don't want, how much it will improve? We have no idea. There's always buyer beware with stuff. There's always a risk. But if it means that I can get a better performance out of my PlayStation VR, I'm going to get better performance from my games. I need another PlayStation 4 anyways for my VR setup. I can't do VR at this desk. I need to have a bigger spot where I can have friends and family to engage and have fun with it. So I need another PlayStation 4, and that's where the price came in key for me at $399. I was expecting $499 for this thing. But to see it at $399, I'm totally down with that. I'm on board. It's awesome tech. It's good stuff. It's just unfortunate they showcased it during an absolutely terrible, terrible stream. And while all of this was going on, obviously Microsoft was watching, and they're still very confident they will have the most powerful console ever, which they should be because they already announced the specs, and the specs for the PlayStation 4 Pro is less than the Scorpio, so I'm glad they're confident. But Albert Pinello, Senior Director of Product Management and Planning at Xbox, said this: I believe that the difference between what we're going to deliver with Scorpio from a performance perspective and PS4 Pro will be obvious to customers. I believe we have the best value this holiday, and I think we're going to have the most powerful box next year. I think the $299 for Xbox One S with 4K Blu-ray, with HDR, and with upgraded controller with Bluetooth, and the new design, I think we've got a killer product that beats their PS4 Slim on the low end. I think that for people who care about the absolute maximum performance, we said at E3 we're going to be launching the most powerful console ever made. That is still true. We were very confident when we made the announcement. It was kind of a bold thing to say, given the rumors that were out there, and I'm more confident today that we're going to have the most powerful console ever made. And yes, you are.
Yeah, because you will, just like you said.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. So just make sure you deliver. It's obvious I'm a tech whore, and the Scorpio, when we see and everything there, it looks very, very sexy. The only thing I have to find out now is if the Xbox Play Anywhere thing keeps going, I gotta look at the Scorpio compared to my PC specs.
Dude, I was just gonna tell you, if you turn around there, you probably have a Scorpio sitting on your PC there already.
Yeah, I have the memory beat already. The 1070 is just above theirs, so I've got that. But man, it's I said I wasn't getting a Slim, and there it is sitting right over there.
I said that too.
Yes, you did. And not only did you get a Slim, but you went out and got the sexiest one out there. So good for you.
Hell yeah, I did, man. Dude, I can't help it, dude. Those Gears consoles, the 360, the Xbox One, love them.
Yeah, you got a sexy looking console. I can't wait to see pictures of that. Mm-hmm. And Microsoft got their shots in. Boy, they did not waste any time with their Twitter this week. And I thought it was hilarious. They came out immediately after the PlayStation meeting. They had Twitter tweets going out saying, 4K Blu-ray player, check. HD support, check. HDR support, check. They were just having a blast on Twitter. And it was even Aaron Greenberg. He came out. I think, was he the one that first started that? I can't remember. He put out a tweet that was just a straight curb stomp on PlayStation. I was just like, man. And we wonder why we have a console war. But it's just it's that competition that needs to be there. And Xbox is going to have the upper hand next year, depending on the price. If they can come in reasonably priced with that Scorpio, they've got a fighting chance. But I think if they come out with a $599 or $699, there will be people that'll buy it. I'm one of them, but that thing's not going to help capture the market. It's not going to. No way at that price. It'll be impressive, and you'll have a group of people that can be like, yeah, I got one. It's freaking awesome, but that thing will not sell if it's priced way too high. I'm sorry. Console gamers won't do that.
Yeah, I mean they've shown that I think anything above $399 is a tough sell for console gamers. So we haven't seen any system launch above that and just kind of really just take off immediately at that price point. So they're gonna come in above $399. I mean they have to with the specs they've talked about. So the question at that point is do console gamers eat that up?
We'll find out in a year. Hopefully at E3, I'm sure we'll find out for sure what it's going to cost. So Microsoft had their fun, and then if things couldn't get worse for PlayStation, I mean it was just a bad week. Bethesda put out a statement regarding mods on PlayStation 4 for Fallout 4 and Skyrim. They will not be coming to the PlayStation 4 version of those games. And this was Bethesda's official statement. No minced words here. After months of discussion with Sony, we regret to say that while we have long been ready to offer mod support on PlayStation 4, Sony has informed us that they will not approve user mods the way they should work, where users can do anything they want for either Fallout 4 or Skyrim Special Edition. Like you, we are disappointed by Sony's decision given the considerable time and effort we have to put into this project and the amount of time our fans waited for mod support to arrive. We consider this an important initiative, and we hope to find other ways user mods can be available for our PlayStation audience. However, until Sony will allow us to offer proper mod support for PlayStation 4, that content for Fallout 4 and Skyrim on PlayStation 4 will not be available. We will provide an update if and when this situation changes. Well, that's all we really got. I mean, there's some speculation that what's going on, something to do with the size of the mods. Apparently Sony wants to cap it at 900 megabytes per mod, whereas on Xbox One and PC, I think it's 2 gigabyte limit on mods. So I don't know the first clue or why Sony would want to limit to 900. There's probably a reason, but I mean, if your competition, if your system is built on PC architecture with PC in mind, I don't understand why 2 gigabytes of mod, why you have to go at 900 as opposed to 200.
I read a different reason why this is a thing.
What'd you read?
Apparently Sony wants Bethesda to do QA on all the mods. Apparently, like on Xbox, there's a lot of them that just crash. So Sony wants them to actually, test them before they push them, live, and Bethesda doesn't want to do it. That's the reason that I read. That's kind of shitty that Bethesda just like drop kicked them under the bus like that, though. You don't do that.
And see, and like I said, at first I wanted to know what the reasoning was, and if it's the whether it's the size or if it's the way you said it. To see, and that's weird because one way it's Sony being a dick, and the other way it's Bethesda being a dick. So that's why I would really love to have somebody find out what the reasoning is here, because this is stupid. In the end, this is stupid. The gamers lose, the consumers lose. Whatever way it is, I mean, like I said, it's easy for me to blame Bethesda simply because of the history they've had with PlayStation products, their games, the Far Harbor thing. Let's remove the fog instead of fixing it. That's like, what? So, I mean, I'm very curious to see what really is the issue here. But I mean, if it's the one Frankie said, then yeah, that makes that statement just straight bullcrap.
Yeah. The key in this statement is Sony has informed us they will not approve user mods the way they should work. The way they should work, whatever that means. Where users can do anything they want for either Fallout 4 or Skyrim Special Edition. If you read between the lines there, that sounds a lot like what Frankie just said. Like, Bethesda wants people to do whatever they want and put the thing on the system, and Sony's like, well, look, man, if this stuff's crashing here and there, it's causing problems. Like, we want some type of quality control on this thing. Where, I mean, that makes sense if you read between the lines in that little part there. So,
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, these guys just can't seem to get on the same page with seemingly anything they release on a Sony system. So I don't know what the deal is with Bethesda and Sony. Hopefully they can get it worked out. Now at the end of the day, man, mods are gonna affect a very small number of people. Like, I don't know that many people care about mods. I mean, it's a big hoo-ha story for the week, but I don't care about mods. Like, Fallout 4 and Skyrim are gigantic games as is. So mods have always been a PC type of thing, and I don't know how popular it's been on Xbox One, but I have a feeling that this probably affects a small number of people in the grand scheme of things.
Did you see on that tool bag Major Nelson, like almost immediately after that story came out, he did a giveaway for Fallout 4 and the season pass on Xbox One.
Tell you, man, Xbox is on point this week. I mean, they are taking advantage of every Sony misstep, and it is what it is. But it's just strange with the mods thing. I have the game. I have Fallout 4 on Xbox One. I have it on PC. I've got a lot of time played on the PC version, and every time I fire up the game, I'm like, oh, look, mods. Well, sorry, I got to continue playing my game, and I go back to playing the game. Do I want to play Skyrim with a dragon with Falcor's body and Peter Griffin's head? Sure, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But at the same time, it's not something that I'm like, oh my god, I want to play Skyrim the way Skyrim's meant to be played, like Skyrim. But I mean, if people are invested in mods and they really want to see mods, and you're on a PlayStation 4, sorry to break it to you, we're screwed. We can't play it. I have Fallout 4 on there, and can't play with mods, I guess. So. If that's a deal breaker, then I totally understand. If you love mods, then stay away from the PlayStation 4 version because you're not going to get them.
I mean, if you love mods, you got to be on the PC, right? You're probably already on there if you love mods.
I have no idea. Honest to God, I didn't even click on it to see what was in there. I haven't even clicked on it.
Mm-hmm.
I seriously fire up the game, and I see, oh, look, mods, DLC. Oh, continue game. Here's where I'm going. So I know I'm not like everybody. Not everyone's like me. There's probably people that really love mods, and God bless you if you do, but for whatever reason, Sony and Bethesda just cannot get their acts together and just make this happen. Whether it's Sony being stingy, and at the same time, I can understand why Sony wouldn't want to have crashing on their system. Makes them look bad. That's why they won't allow Arc Evolved or whatever it is on the system.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to have stuff on there that's not going to work. If it's causing crashes, why would you want it on your system?
Yeah, I mean they've been staunch in their refusal to do like the like full tilt early access stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
and some of that other stuff. So this seems like it would maybe fall into that camp a little bit.
And if it's on Sony's side, if they don't want to allow more than 900 megabytes of mods, here's a hint: add external hard drive support already. Stop being dicks about that. Add the external hard drive support. Open it up. Open the floodgates for mods. Everybody
Dude,
wins.
that's what we need to know about the PS4 Pro. Like, can we hook an external hard drive up to that thing?
I gotta believe that would have been in the FAQ. That's not even there, dude.
The question
that
was
is
not even
seriously-
there.
No. How in the hell is that not on your high-end system?
Dude, you got a terabyte hard drive now. You have enough room, okay?
I have a terabyte hard drive now, and I have to delete games monthly.
Same though.
I'll be throwing a 2 terabyte in there at the very least.
Man,
but it'd be nice to be able to hook up an external to it as well.
That you know what, man? If they don't add that by the time this PlayStation 4 gen, that's going to be the most head scratching, just dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life from this gen. How the hell the Wii U, which is dead, sorry Bender, can handle external hard drive support for all 12 games? Why it even has external hard drive support, I don't even know.
Because it only has a 32 gig hard drive.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only 32 gigs worth of stuff on the store anyways. Worth getting. Sorry, Bender. Again, I'm sorry.
No,
He's
you're
not
not.
sorry. He's not sorry.
I know. And for the listeners, I don't
You're
hate
a
Nintendo.
jerk.
I'm really
He
excited for the
does.
NX.
He
I'm
hates
really
Nintendo.
excited for the
He's
NX.
not. He just wants to make fun of Bender some more.
I do. I just gotta rub Bender the wrong way. So, all right. So we're gonna take a quick break. We still got a lot of stuff to talk about, but in the meantime, here's some new music from Rual Ethan. Follow him on Twitter at Rual Ethan, and you can hear his music on SoundCloud and iTunes. We'll be right back. welcome back. Some more good music from Rual Ethan. We really appreciate you supplying the music for this podcast. It's fantastic. That was some new music, and once again, doesn't fail to impress. Good stuff. Thanks again, Rual. Follow him on Twitter, guys, at Rual Ethan. Very talented. He's going to be big. How about we jump into some Nintendo news? All right, so we got some more information on the NX, the latest information. According to anonymous sources, the NX will reportedly feature a split D-pad as opposed to one D-pad, one whole thing. It's actually going to be split up, and a share button similar to the PlayStation 4. According to anonymous sources that have contacted Let's Play Video Games, following the previous report, we have learned that not only does the current NX development hardware feature a split D-pad, unlike the solid pads Nintendo typically uses, but the system also features a share button similar to that of the PlayStation 4. The share button, denoted by a small icon of a camera, will apparently allow the upload of still images and video directly to Miiverse, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. Yeah, put it on YouTube for Nintendo to take it down. Yeah. Awesome. Counterproductive there. It will also be possible to save images or video to external memory devices to easier transfer to PC. So, yeah, you're going to have your share features. Dude, that's awesome. They put YouTube on there. That is hilarious. If YouTube is seriously included in that, YouTube should be just like, no, get out of here. We don't want you on our site. That's hilarious that they mentioned that. So what do you guys think about that? Are you guys like, I mean, as Nintendo Bender, as a Nintendo fan, are you accustomed? Are you used to the solid D-pad, or are you open to the idea of a split D-pad?
I'm used. Well, I mean, for Nintendo games, I guess I am kind of used to the solid D-pad, but I play PlayStation all the time. They've got the split up D-pad, so it'd be fine if it was split up, and it wouldn't really bother me. That share feature thing is cool if it's true. I mean. Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty sweet to be able to actually share gameplay footage and screenshots easily. Because I know we've talked about this before. I don't know if we've talked about it on the show, but it's ridiculous how difficult it is to do a screenshot on the Wii U or the 3DS. You have to hit the home button. You have to load up Miiverse. Miiverse takes about 30 to 35 seconds to load up. You have to save the screenshot from there, and then you can share it on Miiverse, or you can... like send it to yourself or save it to your SD card or whatever.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. That's the only way to take screenshots on the Wii U or the 3DS right now.
Welcome to the dark ages, Brent.
So I
was gonna say, I'm totally out of line making fun of Nintendo. You guys are right, dude. I should take Nintendo more seriously. Go ahead, Bender.
But so if this is true, that would be really cool if they just make it super simple to just take a screenshot real quick or save some video. But I'm with you on the skepticism about the YouTube thing. I mean, I don't know if they would do that. I mean, knowing how stringent they've been on their content sharing stuff. So it'd be nice if you could share clips to YouTube, but I'm not going to get my hopes up that that's true.
We also got a rumor, the handheld dimensions, port layout, and lack of region lock. This is another rumor that came out for Let's Play Video Games. They mentioned, as others have already said, it's a hybrid console with detachable controllers that have a split D-pad, A, B, X, Y buttons, and a camera and share button. However, something I believe, and this is the source talking, something I believe none of them have mentioned is the size of the current dev kits. It's slightly thicker than the Nintendo 3DS XL when folded, so 25 millimeters, with a width of around 281 millimeters and a height of 92 millimeters with the controllers attached. Separated, the controllers have the same depth and height, and they both have a width of 38 millimeters, making the console itself a width of 205 millimeters. Going from point A to point B takes how much time when going to point C? There were so many millimeters there, I'm so confused. Anyways, I've made a picture dealing with... Dude, this is a terrible picture, by the way.
Yeah.
I've made a picture detailing... Yeah, it's so crude. I've made a picture detailing where the TV port, headphone port, SD card port, power button, and cartridge port can be found. One final thing I thought I should discuss is how the controllers connect. They're both held by the console via a hole in each side of the system where the controllers can connect to. To take it out, there's a button on the back of each controller that lowers the center spike that keeps it in place, making it eject from the system. Bender, thoughts on the NX and that awesome design and the picture that we saw?
Giggity. A hole on the side sounds sexy. No. No. The thing about that whole thing that stood out to me was the lack of region locking. The Wii U and the 3DS have been region locked. The last system I think was the DS that was region free. I think that's awesome because people want to play games that don't come out in their region, especially if they can read Japanese and they want to play a Japanese game. I used to have the original Elite Beat Agents or whatever it was called in Japanese. I used to have that on the DS, and I've ordered it from Amazon. I thought that was awesome to be able to play a game that wasn't available in your country. So I think that's really cool. As far as the millimeters and the dimensions of it, I'm like, whatever. I'm sure it's going to be fine. But yeah, some interesting rumors going on here. I wish I knew some actual concrete information about it.
Well, a new report with that further verifies the system's use of cartridges came out. The industry prefers optical discs when physically distributing a game software because they can store large amounts of data and the cost per unit is low. Major game systems, including Sony's PlayStation 4, Microsoft's Xbox One, and Nintendo's own Wii U, uses discs. However, chip-based cartridges are garnering renewed attention thanks to fierce competition among semiconductor makers, including Samsung Electronics Company, and Toshiba, to develop flash memory that can pack more data onto a small chip at a low cost. Industry watchers said cartridges were a reasonable choice for Nintendo's next-generation system, codenamed NX, because the company targets a wider range of consumers than Sony or Microsoft. Nintendo's core fans include small children who might scratch discs, but find cartridges tougher to damage. Cartridges also allow games to load faster, are harder to copy, and can be mass-produced faster than discs. What are you guys' thoughts of Nintendo going back to cartridges, possibly, boys?
From what we've been hearing, it sounded a little odd at first. I guess that's because every time I hear cartridges, I always associate it with Super Nintendo, or the Nintendo 64. But cartridges, in this sense, we're talking about like SD cards. Or something along those lines, like a small little disc that slips into the back of a portable unit. And to me, it makes sense if this is such a portable focused unit, then it makes sense why they would want cartridges as the media. It's hard to lug around discs, especially from a portable console. So I think it makes total sense that cartridges would be the preferred media format here.
Mm-hmm. Bender?
Yeah, I know we've talked about this before. People seem to have a negative reaction when this rumor first popped up. But honestly, they can fit a lot of information on a cartridge these days. It's the game cards like the 3DS. They can fit a pretty big game on there. Like the Xenoblade Chronicles game on the new 3DS. It's a pretty large game.
Right.
Big open world, and they can fit even more information on, like I said on the show before, they have SD cards that hold 128 gigabytes these days.
Right.
So I'm not too concerned about it. So I think it will be fine if the NX uses game cards. I think it'll be fine, and it'll be a simple medium, I think.
Mm-hmm. Frankie, how about you, man? Collector of all physical media, like the idea of cartridges, or do you want to see some more discs?
Sure, why not? Cartridges are fine.
Sounds like they're pretty efficient. Load things up just as quick, no problems.
Yeah,
So
I got some Vita cartridges up there on the shelf. So
that you do. All right, cool.
Brent,
also
I was going to
sorry,
mention the other thing that somebody mentioned this week is we're getting close to actually getting the reveal of the NX. Some analysts think that we're going to see it either before or during Tokyo Game Show, and others think that it may be like early October. So sometime over the next few weeks, like we should see this damn thing unveiled. I mean, they can't get past like early October. There's too many things going on. There's lots of games coming out. You know, they've got their own stuff going on with Pokemon and other stuff that they're going to focus on. So I think we're pretty close to actually like getting some concrete information and getting the official reveal for the system. And they have to do this soon. I mean, some people are concerned that this thing may be delayed at this point, just because. I mean, they're going to need some kind of time to build up hype for the system, right? To get people excited about it. I mean, they can't just unveil the system and release it the next week for a brand new Nintendo console. They got to have some lead up to it, right?
I don't know. It's Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I already know what I need to know about the system with all these leaks and rumors. I already know what the system is, so I just need to actually see a picture of
Yeah.
it, and you can just get Bill Trinan in the treehouse with Reggie and just do like a 5-second video. Here it is. Everything you read is true, and then just cut away. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, if the rumors that we've been hearing lately all turn out to be true, I'm sold. Everything that I've been hearing about this thing has been pretty cool, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it wouldn't need a lot of lead up because I'm a big Nintendo fan, but I guess others might. But it sounds pretty cool from everything I've heard.
Like Bender said, man, if I can take a game like Breath of the Wild in full scope and scale on the go, I'm down with this system. But I just want to make sure that these are all the types of games they're going to be focusing on and not just squeezing mobile games on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get these big titles on here on the go, games like Destiny or Destiny 2 or whatever, I'm on board. I think that'd be sweet. So we also had, was this 2 weeks ago now, the Nintendo 3DS Direct?
It's about a week and a few days.
Week and a few days. Well, we had a new Nintendo 3DS Direct, and boys, how about you just run us through some of these highlights, and we'll tap into Bender for his thoughts.
Yeah, just the main stuff we need to know from the event. They mentioned that when you buy Pokemon Sun or Moon before January 11th, you'll get a special Munchlax, which of course evolves into Snorlax. We all know that because we're all big Pokemon fans here. So they mentioned that. The one of the big reveals was Mario Maker for the 3DS. It's kind of a strange version of it though. There's some parts of it that aren't going to be there for the 3DS version. Like there's limitations on the levels that you can get. The weirdest part is that you can only get levels locally or through Street Pass. There's no like online way to get all the levels and stuff. So that's kind of strange. Let's see how that turns out on the 3DS. Yoshi's Woolly World coming to the 3DS. This was obviously a 3DS Nintendo Direct, so it was all 3DS all the time. There's a new update coming to Animal Crossing New Leaf sometime in December, I believe, which is going to add amiibo card support, which I know we can't wait for. Nintendo is celebrating The Legend of Zelda by releasing some new amiibo.
Yes.
So yay.
Yeah.
Which also begs the question, like, what are they doing for Metroid's anniversary? You know what they're doing? They're letting Tom Happ release Axiom Verge. That's how they're celebrating Metroid on Nintendo.
Federation Force is out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that. So they let no.
I played it.
No, it's not fun. Just
Did
stop
you really?
lying. It's not. It's not.
Is it really fun?
Stop fibbing, Frankie.
It wasn't Metroid Prime fun, but it was still fun.
It's not.
You're a
bad.
fibber.
It's not terrible. I've played it too.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Just
It's just-
saying.
Dude,
That's
that's
not terrible.
that's
not a
that's the
Metroid
box
game.
quote right there. That's the
Yeah.
box
There
quote.
it is.
It's not
It's not
terrible.
terrible.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Bender, sharppause.com.
It's not the worst thing I've ever played.
Yeah, so this is how they've celebrated the 30th anniversary of Metroid. They've shut down the fan remake of Metroid 2, which was awesome. They released Federation Force as the only Metroid game they've released in a long time, and they let Tom Happ release Axiom Verge on the Wii U. That's it. That's what we got. Can't even get a damn amiibo for Metroid.
There is one.
Yeah, we can't get a new one. Can't get a
Two.
Celebration. Can't get a Celebration amiibo.
Big Ridley amiibo.
Yeah,
Nice
a
eight
Mother
or, an
Brain.
actual,
Samus.
or an actual Metroid.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
Mother Brain.
Ooh.
Eight
Dude, a
bit
Metroid
Samus.
amiibo would be awesome. It could be all translucent and like see through.
Anyway, they kind of finished out the direct with a Pikmin on 3DS, which thought was an interesting game on there. It's a side scroller on here. It still retains some of the strategy elements, which is cool. But so that was it for the direct. It was had some cool stuff for the 3DS. I don't know, Bender, what on this direct stood out to you, or what'd you think about it as a whole?
I thought it was decent as a whole. Some things I'm kind of excited about. I think Mario Maker on 3DS, it looks pretty cool, even though they kind of gimped it with the online features.
Yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, is this going to be the same? I mean, are you really going to be able to enjoy this game like the way that you do on the Wii U without those features? That's the whole point of this game,
not.
right? Is downloading all these courses. So if you're not able to do that, that kind of takes the game away from you, right?
Yeah, I mean, Street Pass is a cool function, but for that particular game, I think it would have been nice to have some online functionality as well, be able to access all the different courses. Because that's a big part of the fun of that game, is just playing all the crazy courses that people create. Yoshi's Woolly World is fine. I like that game on Wii U. I don't know who was asking for a Poochie amiibo though. Seemed like a weird choice. And Animal Crossing is a good game. I don't, amiibo card functionality is not going to be enough to bring me back to it though. I have that game. I love it, but I played it and haven't played it in a while. I do love those Zelda amiibos that they're coming out with. That looks pretty sweet. I've already got mine reserved.
Did you get all 4 of them?
I'm still gonna have to get the Toon Link and Zelda ones. Those were sold out or not available when I went to pre-order them. But I got the 8-bit Link and the Ocarina of Time Link. And then the Pikmin thing, I'll play it probably, but the last game they turned into 2D side scroller was Chibi Robo, and that game wasn't great. I don't know if this will be different. I hope it will. I hope it will be better. But I don't know. But all in all, it was a decent thing. I like the 3DS. I'm excited about this stuff, but I'll stop talking so Brent can go blow his brains out, because apparently
he pre-ordered the amiibos. That's what he's doing right now. He's ashamed of himself.
It's just it. The thing that's so weird about everything that you just talked about. No, and I was listening. And I think it's awesome you guys got your amiibos. It's not even. It's just seriously. Okay, let's go back to Mario Maker real quick. Mario Maker. Okay, let's think about Little Big Planet and remove the online functionality. that made the game go. Mario Maker is about sharing with everybody. Walking on Street Pass is cool. If I can jump into a 3-person co-op mode on Triforce Heroes, or I can slay a big ass dragon with Bender in Monster Hunter 4, why the hell can I just not log in online and download a map? Dude, I literally don't need to have any kind of powerful connection to keep the game going between me and my friend. I have to download a file of a level that someone built. But the only chance I'm going to get one is I walk by some dick on the street and hope to God his level isn't a mountain with a cactus, and that's it.
Be a big penis.
Right, or a giant dick. I mean, seriously, that's the chance. And I can't. And if I do get that, I can't be like, oh, I got to mark this wrong because there's no online functionality. So, yeah, let's not try to figure that one out anymore. Let's jump into Nintendo at the Apple event. Dude, Nintendo was at the iPhone reveal event.
This was a surprise.
Well, not the game, but the actual appearance, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay,
well,
the
game too.
This game is not
pretty
a surprise.
sure we've been talking about this game for about 6 months. Yeah.
But the fact that Miyamoto was there, is that what you're alluding to?
The fact that Miyamoto was there, but I mean, the game, what the game is, was not a surprise. But the fact that it was announced now was a surprise, because we weren't expecting it so soon. I mean, all we knew about was the Animal Crossing and the Fire Emblem games, and we're like, oh, well, those will be the next ones. And then suddenly, boom, Mario Run coming to iOS.
Super Mario Run coming to iOS. Won't be coming to Android in 2016, but this will be coming to iOS devices. Holiday 2016. Frankie's pumped. He doesn't have to buy an iPhone. But this will be coming in holiday 2016. We got to see gameplay footage of a guy playing it with one hand. He literally had the iPhone in his hand and he used his thumb to just jump. That was all. I mean, was that it? Just jumping is all you have to do with Mario? He just endlessly runs and you jump.
There's other mechanics involved here too, from what I've heard. I mean, you tap to jump, but then like if you tap in midair, he does this little spin jump same thing like he does on new Super Mario Brothers games. You do this little spin jump to get a little bit of extra distance in the air. And there's
Gotcha.
like he's always running to the right, but there's special blocks that make him like somersault backwards to the left, or he can do wall kicks to get up to higher places. So there's different things going on, but it looks kind of interesting.
All right. I mean, it looked good. It looked like it ran great. And I like how they showed you can play with one hand while Miyamoto awkwardly acted like he was eating a cheeseburger as he was playing. He's like, you can play it with one hand and eat a cheeseburger in the other. And he was just this awkward. It was weird, but
So
I do think it's awesome. You can play with one hand. He was like, or you can hang on to the rail on a train while you're playing the game. I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, so this is coming out 2016. It's one of 4 games that'll be launching before March 2017. There were 5 supposedly, but now it's just going to be 4. Obviously, Miitomo already launched. Super Mario Run will be a holiday 2016, and Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing were both delayed until 2017. They have it listed as March. So whether or not when those are actually coming out, we don't know, but 4 games before March 2017 per Nintendo. Amiibo support has not been ruled out for mobile games in the future. So now you can take those Amiibos with you to work. Put them on your phone.
They're already at work.
You got them at your desk at work, don't
Sure
you?
do.
I know you do. Boys, what were your thoughts on Nintendo at the Apple event, man? Did you get a chance to check it out?
yeah, I mean, I think it was a little surprising to see Miyamoto on the stage. At an Apple event. This is just such like an about face for Nintendo as far as this stuff goes. The other thing I'm interested in is how this fits into their strategy with the NX. I mean, does this almost cannibalize their own device that they're trying to put out? I mean, if they're putting out stuff like Mario and Animal Crossing and all their big franchises on mobile, which is really their direct competitor in the handheld market now. Like, they don't have to worry about the Vita or anything else anybody else is doing. Like, they're competing with phones and stuff now. So the fact that they're putting their games on a phone now is really interesting. And I'm just wondering if they're almost like going to cannibalize their own sales this way.
I mean, I guess if it was a full-on Mario game, then I'd be like, yeah, I can see what you're getting at. Or if this is going to be a full-on Fire Emblem game, we don't know what these games.
I mean,
they're
anticipating this Mario game to easily hit 1 billion downloads, and this is not going to be a free game. Like Nintendo has said, this is a pay game.
Yeah, and it is. But I mean, at the same time, what I'm trying to say is like cannibalizing. I don't know about that because this is a Mario Run game. It's just a runner. Whereas the Mario games we're going to see on the NX are going to be, you're not going to see Mario Run on the NX. You're going to see massive Mario games, like experiences, big games that are meant to last. I mean, this is just, I mean, everyone's got a mobile device that can play games just about. This is just reaching out to them as well. I don't think anybody that buys the Super Mario Run on the iOS can be like, man, I don't need an NX, especially if they're a Nintendo fan. They're still going to want to get the NX. I don't know how much this would actually cut into the NX or Nintendo sales like that.
Yeah, I think they're kind of counting on this kind of driving people to get their consoles or their other their other products. I mean, you have a kid who's played Mario Run on his iPhone or his iPad or whatever, and then he sees a Mario game in the store and he's like, "Mommy, I want to get that." Well, we don't have that system. Well, I want that. So I think that's kind of their MO with this whole mobile initiative, is to get people hooked on their franchises on the mobile, and then maybe they'll graduate to their other products at some point.
Go to like more like advanced equipment.
Yeah.
Go with the NX next time. Upgrade, if you will.
Go over to an actual console with buttons.
How about you, Frank? What say you? Do you think Nintendo is cutting into their NX stuff, or do you think this is just it is what it is, runner?
It is what it is. Like Bender said, I don't think they're cutting into anything with the NX. Mobile stuff, man.
Mobile stuff is just going to be mobile stuff. And lastly, Miyamoto also said VR just doesn't really fit Mario.
You ain't wrong.
I mean, unless I'm actually in Mario's body, seeing through his eyes, I think it'd be pretty sweet going up against Bowser. But I mean, I don't know really how you would do VR in a Mario game. I mean, any ideas or suggestions? Anybody?
Yeah,
Boys, thoughts
you're
on that?
Goomba running away from Mario.
Oh, just move super slow. They're like, oh, I can't get away.
I mean, we've seen a few platformers and third person action games in VR that some people have enjoyed. So, I mean, Mario's always reinvented himself, so I don't think VR for Mario is out of the question in the future. Now, they may not have a good idea on how to use him right now, but Nintendo's always fiddling around with this new technology and finding new things to do with Mario. You know, each one of his games is different than the last. So I don't think like VR is out of the question for Mario at some point in the future.
Yeah, one of the things Miyamoto said is that that they don't want to do VR right now because they want families to play together, and stuff like that. And VR kind of isolates you in your own world. But I imagine maybe somewhere down the line, if the VR headsets become more affordable and people can buy like multiple headsets for one household, then maybe that's something they would consider if people could still play together in the same room. I don't know.
Star Trek Bridge Crew, though.
Yeah. I mean, there's online experiences, so you can still play with other people, but you're still kind of in your own world, I guess. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's it's the potential is there for people to play together in VR, but I think maybe that's just something Nintendo's just not focused on right now.
Right. Yeah. Nintendo doesn't follow. They do. They do their own thing. Everyone else is doing VR. Like, we're not doing VR. Nope, we're not. So that's your Nintendo segment there. Up next, Destiny update. Release this week prepares for the release of Rise of Iron. Along with a host of weapon tuning, we also some of the new achievements have been leaked for Rise of Iron. With those, here's what we have for the achievements. I guess stop listening if you don't want spoilers. I don't know how spoilery these are.
It's basically just they're just like the Taken
just
King
quest lines?
trophies, yeah.
Okay. All right. So the achievements and trophies are listed as this. There's Mountain Climber, which is complete the King of the Mountain mission. The Young Wolf, complete the Rise of Iron quest. Student of History, activate all the Iron Lord artifacts. Sing the Iron Song. This one's classified.
Ooh.
Supremacy, complete the Glory and the Taking of It quest. Eye for an Eye, complete the Kovic's Sin quest. Forging Ahead, complete an encounter in the Archon's Forge. Spliced, complete the Wrath of the Machine Raid. Ooh, that's what I want. Splicer God, complete the Wrath of the Machine Raid on heroic difficulty. So these are all the trophies and achievements you can expect to attain throughout your playthrough of Rise of Iron. We also found out that some of the Rise of Iron gear is already dropping in-game. Some people have reported they've already picked up the new exotic sidearm or hand cannon Trespasser.
It's a sidearm.
Is it a sidearm?
Yeah.
I apologize. It's an exotic sidearm, the Trespasser. People have also mentioned that engrams have been dropped that go over the current cap of 335. What's the new light level? 385?
It will be 380. I think once 385 goes up to 400, I believe, when
400
when the raid comes out, or when the heroic raid comes out, or whatever.
Okay, Frankie, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I have the details for that other achievement.
For the Sing the Iron Song?
Yeah. It's
what's that?
Play the Rise of Iron theme on the bells in the Iron Temple.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Bungie confirmed there's a new soundtrack coming out as well for Rise of Iron.
Awesome sauce.
Nice.
Also in there, if you jump into the map, you can actually see the Rise of Iron zones, the Plague Lands and Fellwinter Peak. You can see that now. And there was a host of other changes that people have noticed. Boys, do you have any information on what changes people are finding out there?
Just there's a whole Reddit thread of all the stuff people are coming across, and that's one of the things I like that they do with Destiny. But they put out these patches right before the new expansion comes out, and there's all these little hidden things and special things for people to go in there and find. So that's what happens. And these Reddit threads pop up. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in here. One thing that I've noticed, I fired it up just briefly just to kind of toy around with it a little bit, but I've been getting a lot of green drops now.
Yes.
So I've been going through they're dropping around like 195, 200, like in that range. So other people have been experiencing it as well. It's popped up on this Reddit thread here, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But yeah, that the thing with people getting drops above the current light level, like that's really interesting.
Mhm.
So there's a new ghost that somebody found the other day in the Dust Palace, underneath one of the grates or whatever in there. So there's all these little hidden things that people are going to be finding throughout Destiny over the next week. And man, next time we do this show, Rise of Iron will be on the new release list, and we'll probably have completed the Moments of Triumph by them as well.
Oh man, how close are you guys? What do you guys have left to do?
I just have the raid on hard. That's all I
Yeah.
have left.
Raid on hard.
Boys?
I have a couple more calcified fragments I need to find, and do the raid on hard, which we are planning to do tomorrow night. Right, Bender?
Mhm.
Oh my.
Yep.
Tomorrow night.
Oh
A raid on hard.
Oh my. Oh boy. I didn't even beat it the first time. How is the battle with Oryx, boys?
It's fun, man. It's actually not bad once you know what you're doing. In
Right.
fact, the way they have you do it for the challenge for that is actually really easy. So
Yeah, it's easier than the regular way.
yeah. So if you weren't fighting Oryx that way, I'm sure a lot of people are now after the challenge came out, because it kind of shows you the best way to tackle him. But yeah, it's a great raid. It harkens back to the Vault of Glass a lot. You know, there's a lot of Vault of Glass in the King's Fall raid, so it's a great raid. Looking forward to tackling it on hard mode now.
That dude is huge. I couldn't believe how big he was when I first saw him. I was like, oh my god, that guy is massive.
Yeah.
And you're right, his feet are creepy. So
Yep.
going over from Destiny, we're heading over to Titanfall 2. Some news here. This was just kind of a goofy situation. First of all, Titanfall 2 had come out and said EA had said Titanfall 2 will be excluded from EA Access, and everyone's like, "Whoa, no, that's not fair. That's terrible.
Rabble,
That's
rabble,
awful.
rabble, rabble, rabble.
You bastards, you terrible Sony. I bet you Sony has a marketing deal, and they said you can't give it to them early because that hurt Battlefront sales, obviously, right? Oh wait, no, it didn't at all. But so here's the thing you have to understand about Titanfall 1. This was a game that was signed under the EA Partners program, and at the time, those games were exempt from EA Access. And now everyone's like, well, there was a discount. No, there wasn't. Titanfall 1 was released before EA Access came out, so there would have been no discount. And like, well, it was added to the vault. Well, it was added to the vault to just drive some hype behind EA Access, but the Titanfall franchise at the time was exempt from EA Access due to the EA Partners program, which has since been defunct. I don't think that's going on anymore. There was a bunch of layoffs. People said it. There was a couple of EA execs that said, no, it's not going away, but we haven't heard a thing from the Partners program. So whether or not that agreement is still in effect, despite the fact the EA Partners program just seems to be defunct. But so anyways, Titanfall 2 will not be included in the early access or the early preview of 10 hours, usually the Friday before, and there will not be a discount. So everyone was upset about that, but Respawn actually came out and told Game Reactor shortly after, it might be included in the future, but not this year. So I mean, it's whether or not but to hear people blaming Sony was just like, huh? What?
You know what the funny part is? Of course, Microsoft actually has
What's
the
that?
marketing for that game.
Microsoft does have the marketing.
Yeah.
So I guess it wasn't Sony's fault. But here's the thing, everyone's like, everyone's blaming Respawn. Dude, this is something that EA signed on for. When they said, hey, it's not going to be included in the EA program, the EA program games aren't included. It's not like Respawn said, no, that's not going to be in there. EA signed the contract to make it exclusive. If Respawn can't say, hey, look, this game's not exclusive, what makes you think they can say you can't sell it for a discount? EA runs the ship. Okay, that's just the way it is. EA is calling the shots with Titanfall. And if they don't want to include it in EA Access, they don't have to. So it is what it is. Do I think it's a bummer? Yeah, absolutely. It's an EA game. And and it's funny because if you go to the FAQ for EA Access, it actually sits there and says in big letters, every EA game. And then there's the whole little with exclusions. And then if you go way down to the bottom in the real fine print, you'll see Titanfall 2. Okay. So I guess There's nothing to really talk about.
in the
So
fine
I
print,
mean,
That's-
it's fine
It's
print.
the end of the story.
But I mean, but at the same time, I can understand the confusion because honestly, before I started doing some research, I didn't know Titanfall was the EA partners games were exempt from EA Access. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so not knowing that and then knowing that it was added to the vault, I can see why consumers would be like, why isn't this a part of this? But we got this and we got this. Well. And that is messaging on EA. That's a fault on them for not being clear about it with their consumers. And that's how you get voted worst company when you piss people off. Even though it's in the fine print, I can understand where the confusion come from.
I still think $6 is a stupid reason not to buy a game, but whatever.
Incredibly stupid.
But I actually, that was my tipping point to pre-order it. So I pre-ordered on Xbox. Funny enough, you one of the pre-order bonuses, you get a free month of EA access for pre-ordering, apparently. So
Are you serious? That's great.
yeah, so
That's awesome.
I put the code on Twitter. I
Pre-order.
don't know if anyone redeemed it, but if you're following me at Viper Strike, there's a month of EA access code on there somewhere.
So are you not getting it on PS4?
I will at some point. But I don't know,
That's what I got to
I'm just,
pre-order it on.
like I play Titanfall. Like to me, like there's certain franchises that I kind of I look at and say I'm gonna buy this on this system. That's what I'm used to playing it on. Titanfall is kind of one of those games, kind of like the Souls games. Like I feel more at home playing those on PlayStation, whereas Titanfall, like playing on PlayStation, I just kind of like the controls. I don't know why, but just playing it, I'm like. Like I was at times like I was looking at the controller like wait what this button okay like just playing it up but playing the beta on an Xbox like I just felt more like at home playing it like I did a lot better and I don't know, it's stupid, it's one of those really minor dumb things but yeah
Okay. No, that's cool. If I would have known, I would have pre-ordered on the Xbox. I got it on the PS4, but
that's what it is.
hey, maybe in a year when it goes to the vault, after a year, I'll download it and then I'll jump in and play it.
Yeah, but that was like a thing for me though with it was people aren't playing early, so I'm not gonna hop into the game, and be up against a bunch of people who've been playing the game for a couple days, already have, people already a couple generations in, have all the better weapons unlocked already. I don't have to worry about that. So it's a big thing for me with multiplayer games. So I think it's smart of them not to do that.
And that's just the thing. Like, if you really need time to play the game to see if you really like it, or if you're really bummed about the discount or you want both, just order it from Amazon, play it for 29 days, and if you don't like it, send it back, get your money back, and you also get the discount if you like it. So
yeah,
if I understand if you don't want, and then if you do like it and you get your money back, go buy the digital version so you got your digital copy. I don't know, it's just very strange. So, boys, any thoughts on the Titanfall 2 fiasco, the catastrophe that it was?
No, not really. It was another one of these things that was much ado about nothing. I mean, it's in the fine print. Sure, it's confusing for people, but it just is what it is, man. It's what companies do. They put the stuff that you don't want to see in the fine print, and you gotta learn to go down there and read that stuff. It's just how it is. So it's in the fine print. So this is what it is, man. They can get away with it.
Cool. And the last section we're going to talk about, we got some more Xbox bulletins to talk about. First up, Xbox One was the top-selling console in August. That is a second month in a row for Xbox. That Slim is just selling like crazy. It's doing very, very well, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a beautiful little system. I think it's cute. I love it. It's much more appealing. It's much more attractive than the VCR box. So that's awesome. Good for them. And so a report came out this week, an independent study indicating that the Xbox Live is faster and more reliable than the PSN. No shit.
Wow.
I know. The full report tested speed and reliability across a variety of metrics, and Microsoft's service came out on top in the majority of categories. In terms of reliability, Xbox Live had a better score for login time to network, login time to game servers, and uninterrupted play, while there is no noticeable difference when it comes to matchmaking. In terms of speed, Xbox Live is speedier at logging in to both the network and game server and has a faster time to upload. Once again, there's no noticeable difference between the PSN and Xbox Live when it comes to speed of matchmaking. The overall quality experience combined both speed and reliability metrics while also including other indicators of game quality such as the ability to join gameplay with friends and share achievements, as well as the quality of sound for voice chat. Boys, man, we really heard the PSN voice chat the other night playing Destiny. Remember we were in the game chat?
Well,
And we were just like,
it's
oh.
always like the game chat's always subpar, but the party chat sounds great. So I don't
Yeah,
know
see,
I
that's-
don't know how that works or whatever, but
Yeah, see, and that's weird because if I play Xbox One, if I play on a game and I hear if I'm not in a party chat and if I'm in regular chat, it sounds just as good. Like, it sounds great, but man, when we were in the game chat for Destiny, it was just like you're just like, oh my god, what the hell was that?
yeah, in-game chat for whatever reason never sounds good. Yeah, but the party chat sounds great.
Oh, it's like you're sitting right there.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a plus. Use the party chat if you want the quality sound. And then the last bit was Xbox Live produced higher scores in overall quality than PlayStation Network in 3 out of 4 metrics. Xbox Live comes out on top on logging into the game server, joining a chat, and voice chat quality. So an independent study proves what everybody already knew. The Halo 5 Forge on PC is getting a custom game browser. Boys, what does that mean? It's getting a custom game browser. No, you can't play online, but what does that mean, custom game browser?
On Halo 5 Forge on PC, one of the things you can do is test your maps out. So, and people can make custom games, and supposedly, because there's no like matchmaking or any of that kind of stuff in the Halo 5 Forge on PC, but they're supposed to put this custom game browser in so you can search for whatever game you want to hop into. In terms of people that are making these custom games to test out these maps. So it's just another one of these half steps towards towards Halo being like fully on the PC.
And eventually they're just going to get to the point where like, oh, all we need to do is add matchmaking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, let's do that.
I mean, there's no question that Halo 6 will be on the PC. It's just a matter of if Halo 5 ever or any of the other Halos ever get over there to the PC fully.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It just seems like you said, it's becoming more and more obvious. It's just slowly making its way, trying it out, seeing how it works, and eventually they'll just be like, okay, look, here's the game, have fun.
Yeah, this is Microsoft's strategy. This is one of their top dog first party properties. So their strategy is to get their games on Windows, on the PC, and on Xbox. So there's no question that future installments will be on both platforms.
Nope, I think you're right. Xbox One clubs and looking for group features are now available in Preview Program. Clubs are created and managed by players, allowing Xbox One users to come together in communities that can be used to coordinate game sessions, share content, and has group voice and text chat systems. Clubs can be associated with specific games and then found in that game's hub on Xbox One or the Xbox app. Club admins will have tools to manage their communities, and club names must be reserved as no two clubs can have the same title. So, yes, there will be a Short Pause Gaming Club, just like there's a Short Pause Gaming community on the PlayStation 4. So look for that as soon as that whole preview or the whole thing becomes available for everybody. The Looking for Group feature is essentially a multiplayer want ad that players can post with certain requirements, asking other players to join in their game. Those making a Looking for Group post can note the game, the mode, the number of players, rules they may have, such as skill level preference or language, or any other requirements for the game itself. So there's your LFG for Xbox One, which is a pretty cool feature, actually. And one more thing we want to touch on, Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection, detailed in French leak. Man, I love these leaks, man. They claim that the collection will include Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations with all their DLCs and 1080p 30 frames. The textures, which look a tad on the blurry side these days, will be getting a facelift, which might explain why this is at 30 frames and not 60. We still don't know if multiplayer modes will be included, but there were 3 multiplayer-focused DLC packs for Brotherhood, which suggest they might as well be making a comeback. The pack will also include 2 animated films surrounding the trilogy. This is probably Ascendance, which connects AC2 and Brotherhood, and Embers, which finishes off Ezio's story and introduced Chronicles China's lead Xiao Jun. There is no word on whether it will include the live-action Lineage prequel series. However, if the other 2 are included, it would be a very bizarre omission. Amazon Italy wanted to get in on the leaks as well. They listed this game as coming out on November 17th, 2016. Frankie, as a big fan of the Assassin's Creed series, would you have any interest in the Ezio collection?
Yeah, I never finished Brotherhood or Revelations, so yeah, Brotherhood I hear is one of the best Assassin's Creed games. 2 is fantastic. That's one of the ones I have a platinum in. Revelations I've kind of heard mixed things about, but still it's not as bad as 3. So, but yeah, it's apparently a trilogy worth playing, and I'd revisit Assassin's Creed 2. That was great. That was a fun time. So, just it's like BioShock, man. Just the worst kept secret.
Right, man. Nobody can keep these things under wraps. Bender, any interest in the Assassin's Creed series?
Never played any of them, so I don't know.
They're nice looking games, that's for sure. Some of the controls can be a little wonky, especially when you're doing those chase scenes.
They do some cool stuff with some like alternate history kind of stuff.
Okay.
Might be worth a look.
Yep.
Boys, any interest?
Yeah, I'd be interested to check this out. I haven't played through the Ezio collection, so I'd be interested to hop in here and play through these games. I mean, we've got the marketing materials here. We've got the Korean ratings board. We've got the fact that Ubisoft, I'm sure, wants to get some type of Assassin's Creed game out this year. So this makes a whole lot of sense. And it sounds like November 17th is our date. So be looking forward to its official unveiling soon here, I'd assume.
Can't wait. Hopefully we can find out. I would definitely pick it up. I just don't know when the hell I would play it. Those are very long games. They're not short.
Yeah.
And 3 of them, I don't know when I would squeeze those in. But I agree with you, Frankie. Assassin's Creed 2 was freaking awesome. That is one game I played through, and it was great. So, and that's going to do it for the news. But we've got a couple emails before we go. First up, our buddy Tori. You know him as Shifty25 on Twitter. He's our boy. He's one of our rating buddies, one of the original Short Pause Guardians. Tori has a question. Hey guys, since I will be purchasing an Xbox One from someone who may or may not be a member of this podcast, Frankie looks around. We know who it is, Franklin. Shifty had to say, I haven't played on Xbox for close to 9 years. I thought I'd ask y'all which Xbox games, primarily exclusives, I should look into. Gears of War Ultimate Edition off the top of my head. Quantum Break off the top of my head.
The thing, too, is he has a PC, which is kind of one of the things that was a roadblock when I was talking to him about this. So I got to keep that in mind, too. Like, I think he's already played Quantum Break. He's getting Recore on PC, I think, too, so. Like,
Well, then he'd have it on Xbox One, wouldn't he?
Ori's on PC, though.
But if he hasn't played it, that Ori and the Blind Forest is definitely would be my suggestion. The game's awesome.
That's a good one, too. Yeah, if you haven't played Ori, I'd recommend that. If you haven't played Quantum Break, that for sure. Gears of War Ultimate Edition, I thought that was fantastic. As my first time really playing through that game, I thought that was a great job. Cooperative speaking, obviously Frankie and I like Halo 5. That'd be sweet to get you on there. Play through the game cooperatively. So
Rare Replay.
Those would be my Rare Replay is another fine title. Well, Frankie, what else? What else you got, man? What do you think?
Like, there's a couple 360 games that I dig back to, like Alan Wake. If you didn't play that on PC, Fable 2. That's one of the better Fable games. I guess even the Gears trilogy, and Judgment if you're feeling frisky.
Oh, Frankie, you wanted to push Sunset Overdrive, correct?
No, but he's already getting that.
Oh, is he getting that? Okay, all right. Well, hopefully Shifty you'll enjoy it more than you and I did.
Yeah, that's you might like it, you might not. That's not for me, but whatever. It's a good stream game.
Yeah.
I'd like watching people play it. I just don't like playing it.
There are people that love that game, and it reviewed very well. So obviously, it's just a matter of taste. So Shifty, if you like what you saw on video, and I remember when I saw the video, I was just like, I don't know if I'll get into something like this. And I played it, and it had some merit, but in the end, I was just like, this isn't for me. So I mean, if you enjoyed what you see in these videos, you'll probably enjoy the game. So I mean, Sunset Overdrive, maybe Dead Rising 3. I couldn't get into Dead Rising. I couldn't get into any of those games. So
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about zombie games.
I guess
Frankie, what do you think? Did you play Dead Rising 3?
No. I had it for a
No?
while. I can't do Dead Rising. It just doesn't interest me at all. The other thing I'd recommend would be Forza Horizon 2, maybe. I don't know where you're at with racing games, but if you're into more arcadey ones, It is an open world that I don't feel like has a whole lot to do. Like, there's sandwich boards, and I think you unlock cars by finding barns or something. I didn't play enough of it to really figure that out because I wasn't having any fun with it, so I stopped playing it. But people swear by that game. Maybe it's just an oversight by me, but Horizon 2.
And lastly, Rise, Son of Rome.
He's got that on
give
PC.
that a look. Does he have it on
Yeah,
PC?
'cause I
Damn,
mentioned
you
that to you,
shifty.
'cause I love that game.
All right. Well, there's some suggestions for you, Shifty. Hopefully, you can find some enjoyment out of those, or if you find something else, let us know.
Killer
what
Instinct.
we might have missed, but
Forgot Killer
So-
Instinct.
well-
If you're not playing on PC, Killer Instinct is awesome.
there's a reason I didn't mention that one, Shifty. But thanks, Frankie. I appreciate you putting that one out there. And the other email from our good buddy, Angels and Demons. Angels and Demons just pulls no punches. He is busy on our website. He's always commenting on the podcast. We love Angels and Demons. He's good people. We know him as Ivan. You know him as Angels and Demons, but we're cool. We get to know Ivan on a first-name basis. We love Ivan. Here's what Ivan had to say. What's up, dudes? I got 2 questions. 1, what is the plan for episode 100? Honestly, I have no idea. That is coming up quick, though. 15 episodes away. Wow. It's going to be a big milestone for us, Short Pause Guardians, who have been here since episode 1, and we love you for it. Thank you, Angels. We love that you've been here since episode 1. At your current pace, you'll hit episode 1 just after Thanksgiving. Angels, I did the math. You're a little off on that. It'll be sometime in January. I think you forgot to take into consideration we have holidays off. There's certain Saturdays that we aren't on, so therefore it'll be somewhere in January is when episode 100 will be. I feel like you guys need to break down and allow us to order Short Pause coffee mugs, T-shirts, and or monogram prophylactic. This is why I like Angels and Demons. He just puts it out there. He doesn't care. Seriously though, what can we do to make this happen if you haven't already made some plans? Angels, honestly, it's not something that we've thought about. I mean, we're still trying to make this show the best show we can. We're still focusing on trying to deliver a quality product every week. And as much as, we'd love to put merchandise out there and get the word out about Short Pause, but I feel like we're still working our way to that. I still feel like we have a ways to go to improve as a podcast, to deliver a quality product weekly. I don't know, boys. What are your thoughts on the merchandise? I mean, obviously that's something that would be cool to look into, but I personally myself, I don't know if we've hit that point yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if we're quite ready for the coffee mug and the T-shirt yet, but at some point in the future to do something like that would be cool. I wouldn't mind rocking the Short Pause logo on a nice black tee.
Mm-hmm.
I could get down with that.
Get a sweet
So
new
at
hat.
some point in the future,
Yeah, nice little hat.
yeah,
Be
just
sweet.
a hat game. But at some point in the future, we'll have that coffee mug, Angels, and you'll be the first guy we message. Like, look, man, hell, we'll probably send you an honorary one, just because you started all this stuff to begin with. So we'll eventually get you that coffee mug, man. It's coming. Just don't know when.
Dude, I'd
You know-
love a Short Pause Guardians t-shirt.
Oh yeah, that'd be badass.
Oh man, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
sweet.
we
Now,
got
if
some things
Angels,
we gotta make happen.
Yeah, no, I imagine Angels will be like, I'll just send you guys a Magnum condom to put the Short Pause logo on. I'll be like, oh ha ha, Angels.
Brent, we've discussed a little bit about episode 100 as well. So
We have.
we've got some ideas brewing. We're gonna try to make it a special show. We don't have anything to announce yet, but we're
Yeah, we're the problem is we're trying to keep things realistic.
Yeah.
We have ambitions. We have these visions of grandeur who we'd love to do for episode 100, but it would take a lot of coordinating. It would take a lot of planning, and it's something that we're looking into, and eventually we'll start really turning the wheels on it. But we have ideas that we've been kind of tossing around and thinking about, but we're not quite ready to reveal that just yet. Like I said, we're about 3.5 months away from that, but we're getting close, buddy. And believe me, we can't wait to share those plans with you, when we have them all figured out. So,
I'm making a nice grenade Brent montage video.
oh
Brent's-
no, just all the worst
Yeah,
grenades.
Brent's 100 greatest grenade throws.
Usually involve me hitting a corner of a wall
Or the back of my head. Yeah.
yeah.
Bouncing back and killing you.
I streamed Destiny this morning. If you go in there and watch the stream, I threw a grenade off a wall and it killed me. It was the only time I died in the mission. I killed myself due to an errant grenade. It's just I'm as consistent as gravity when it comes to grenades, dude. Just naturally awful.
While you're at it, you can make a Bender rocket montage video.
Moody Jump School. I think we could do a video for that too. It'd be like a 7-hour video. Just constantly us. We'll have to do time lapse. Just everyone sitting down waiting for Moody to make a simple jump. That'd be pretty sweet. But let's get to question number 2 for Angel. This one's actually pretty interesting. This one is regarding VR. I was thinking about Hitman VR. This is going to get dark. Sure, we are all probably a lot more comfortable with the idea of action, shooter violence in first person, but what about actually strangling, stabbing, poisoning, and murdering your marks with cold serial killer-like impulsivity? What are your thoughts? Should developers stay away from this type of VR experience? Does the video game conversation become a different animal when realistic VR is compared to a cartoony Borderlands or Hollywood-style Call of Duty? That's deep. Like, like immediately when I read that email, I was like, man, I can imagine myself using that wire, like just to choke out a target. I mean, just imagine, like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, is that too immersive, Frankie? I mean, is that too much?
Yeah, I had the same thought of you. Like, I was sitting here thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, just what? Like, that would be so wrong. I feel really wrong doing that, you know. And then,
I mean, imagine. Oh, go ahead.
But
sorry.
like, you know, people already like to paint, you know, like Grand Theft Auto and like, you know, paint video games as being responsible for, you know, people and they're violent, you know, needs to commit violent crimes. Like, that's like taking it to a whole new level doing that in VR. You know, like then it is like it would probably be a little more realistic. I don't know that I would even want anything like that on the market. Like, keep VR away from the hatred guys, probably. Good idea.
Keep everything away from the hatred guys. Like, take their computers.
Probably smart.
No, boys, what do you think, boys? Stepping into the shoes of Agent 47 and I mean, imagine carrying on some of those acts. I mean, would you be able to get your head around that you're still in a video game, or do you think that's too real?
Would you be able to choke out Gary Busey, like in real life?
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit much when they're like lift both move controllers to activate wire. It's like that's a little bit too far. Yeah, I personally wouldn't want to play anything like that. And like Frankie said, I mean, just think of some of the like sick things that people could get from this game. Like, if you were a serial killer in training, like some of the stuff in Hitman is pretty elaborate. So you're gonna play out all these scenarios, and then you're gonna be the one that's actually doing the deed in the end. That's kind of scary, man. I would not be down for a Hitman VR serial killer simulator. That would not be my thing.
And now I look to Bender and I just see him smiling ear to ear like he's got ideas. Bender, are you open to the idea of playing as Agent 47?
No, that'd be too much for me. And I think that I don't think that's something that should be considered for VR, because I think that would just be inviting the whole, you know, violence in video games discussion to open up that whole can of worms, and it'd be something that people would focus on, you know, and you know, the whole, like, back in the 90s, like when Mortal Kombat came out, you know, stuff like that whole discussion. I think that would just spark a whole new controversy about video games. And I don't think gamers need that sort of, you know, bad press. You know, it would just make us look bad.
Not only would that raise the thought of censorship, I think that would bring it on. I think that would bring on full censorship to games. I mean, I think that would really start to limit what developers can do. I mean, I don't like the idea of censoring developers. I want developers to create the game they want to create, but at the same time, I mean, something like in Call of Duty where you're shooting people from, you know, other military people and da-da-da. I mean, I'm not saying that's acceptable, that's okay, but it's just become such a norm where it's just a shooter. But I mean, I think there's something more personal about coming up behind an unsuspecting person and carrying out some of the acts that Agent 47 does, like slitting somebody's throat or strangling them. I mean, there's just way too much. I just think that's a whole different level of violence, as opposed to playing Call of Duty or Destiny, where you're running around shooting and stuff like that. I mean, people at this point, I think gamers understand that the whole shooting stuff is just shooting, and it's not nearly as influential. I don't think I play a lot of shooters. I don't want to shoot anybody, but I think for some people, there are some unstable people where if you play as Agent 47, I mean, if you look at some of the most infamous serial killers, they did a lot of stuff because they enjoyed it. And if you see people getting a thrill out of playing something like Hitman, that's very personal, very, very, very. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but I just think I think that's a little more dangerous than shooters. That's just my opinion, just from looking at it. I mean, boys, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it just seems like it's way too realistic.
It's the reason why, like, when you have horror movies or you have these slasher movies, like, these guys are using like knives and they're like really like brutally tearing through their victims. You know, it's like like Jason could have used a handgun or something like that, but he doesn't. He uses like these machetes and just these like disturbing weapons to kill his victims, and it's visceral, and he's like right there in the action. So if you were to step into the shoes of Agent 47 from a first person perspective, and have to do some of the stuff that he does, that's just a little creepy. That's a little bit too far. That's a little too immersive, I think, for VR, and I'm gonna stay away from that experience.
Do I think we'll see games like that? Absolutely.
Somebody's gonna try it.
VR I think it's going to be an amazing technology, but there are going to be downsides, and it's going to be the content. That's going to kind of be a blemish, depending on how well it's monitored, how often it comes out, and how accessible it is to everybody. Because I mean, I'm sure it's not something you can just go on Steam and be like, hey, where's the Serial Killer Simulator? There's always ways to get these games working on your system without going through the normal outlets. So VR is very fascinating, but it's there will be some danger in there as well, depending on the content. So, Angels, great question for number 2, man. That was a great question. Number 1, merchandise, not quite on the docket just yet, but like Boy said, if we ever get a mug, you're getting the first one, buddy. So thanks again for writing in. Shifty as well, thank you for writing in. We appreciate hearing from our listeners. We love talking to you. We love hearing your questions. We love discussing what you have to say. We love hearing what you have to say. If you have anything you'd like to talk about from tonight's podcast, the PlayStation Pro, Sony's week in general, anything, podcast at shortpause.com, or head over to the Wave app, available on iOS and Android devices. Sound off on Wave. Send us a voice message. If it's not littered in profanity like most of my messages, we'll actually put it into the podcast and discuss it. So we'd love to hear from you, whether it's on Wave or whether it's from the podcast, or whether you want to write in the comment section of the podcast post. We want to hear from you. Gentlemen, that is it for tonight. Franklin, where can we find you gaming and streaming and everything?
Everything. You can find me on everything at Viper Strike. VYPRSTRYKE.
So simple. Viper Strike. Mr. Bender Holt.
I am on Twitter at Bender_guitar. On PlayStation Network at me_Bender. On Xbox at meBender82, and on Nintendo devices at Bender82.
Mr. Benjamin Boolicious Boyce.
It's me. As always, Brent, I will be not tweeting at Piccolo930. And of course, that's my PSN handle, so you can find me on there as well, at Piccolo930. As far as the stream, we'll have the Thursday Night Indie Spotlight on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/shortpauselive. So check us out on there, 10 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Probably have a few more streams on there during the week, too. We got a couple games you want to get up on there. Hopefully we can get a play-in with Don't Starve together. That'll be a fun stream if we can get that up there. And then, not sure what we're going to fire up for the Spotlight this week. I'll have to peruse the offerings a little bit more before I make a decision on that.
Nice. All right. You can find me on Twitter at TheDude1979. You can find me on PlayStation Network, TheDude79, and Xbox Live, The Real Dude 79. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Short Pause. Visit www.shortpause.com for all your gaming news, reviews, podcasts, videos, and more. You'll see Ben's Jotun review will be up on the site right now. We've also got another article up from a friend of ours, Jordan Havlick. He has an article up about why he actually hopes the PlayStation Pro has exclusives. Very interesting title. So make sure you visit www.shortpause.com. We'll always have press releases going up and original articles, editorials, and such. In terms of streaming, you can find us on Beam, Twitch, YouTube, and we'll actually stream on Facebook. We got a couple videos up on Facebook. I figured out that we can stream to Facebook, so I've got a Star Trek Online video, and some Rainbow Six Siege was just the test stream. I did absolutely awful. I got rolled there. So make sure you follow us on Facebook at Short Pause Gaming. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Short Pause Gaming, Twitch, as Boyce alluded to, Short Pause Live, and Beam is our Twitter handle at The Short Pause. This podcast can be heard on SoundCloud, iTunes, and TuneIn Radio. If you enjoy this podcast, if you really, really like it, go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Tell us how much you love this podcast. If you're not quite ready to give us 5 stars, I don't want a fake one. I want you to come over to the site, go right into the comments section, or send us an email. Let us know what you don't like about the show. If you have suggestions, if you have any criticisms, we can handle it. We want it. We need it. We need to hear from you. Podcast at shortpause.com, or go to the podcast post, leave it in the comments section. For Mr. Boyce, Mr. Ayler, and Mr. Holt, I'm Brent Felsing. Thanks again for tuning into the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. We'll talk to you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.